Hey guys, how's it going? So, quick update. I know Twitch says I haven't streamed in about a week. That's not actually the case. So, on Thursday, I did like a 30-45 minute stream. I was going to stream obviously for longer than that, but since I just have the worst luck, I swear, ever, kind of just have a terrible track record for that, honestly. My power went out right into the stream, lost the footage for all that stuff. It was really unfortunate. I think I mentioned that on my last VOD. And then on Friday, I went ahead and streamed, but I did get rid of the VOD on Twitch because I had this weird internet issue where I was basically going from, like, just fine internet to, I usually get pretty good speeds, to it was just dropping, and I don't know why. I called up the internet company, and they said they thought they had some kind of issue with the towers, that I think because they found out about the issue Friday, and I called them Friday night, I don't know, I'm sure they got other reports about it because it was going on Friday afternoon, and then it was the weekend. Today is Monday, hopefully they'll have a chance to fix it. They said they were going to try and get it fixed by tonight, but there's no guarantee, and I really want to get Three Hopes finished up before the 29th on Friday, just because that is when Xenoblade 3 comes out. I do know we have, I believe we're on chapter 12. We are predicting that this is the chapter that we recruit Byleth and Geralt, which is odd just because in Azure Gleam, it is a couple of chapters later than Golden Wildfire and Scarlet Blaze. It was on chapter 10 in the previous two paths that we did. But I figured we'd just hop into it.
Which battlefield are you headed to?
And this will basically just be the same thing as a normal stream, and it's just recorded instead of also streamed on Twitch. A little bit unlucky, but one of those things that you can't always do anything about. But I figured we'd hop straight into this. We did full clear the map, because if I remember correctly, we had been predicting, I'm not 100% certain, I haven't looked it up. If we fail once or twice, we might look it up then. But I'm pretty sure this is the chapter. We're on chapter 12 that we should recruit Byleth and Geralt, or at least have the opportunity to do so, because they really put in a lot of foreshadowing during the previous events of this chapter, previous chapter, that this is finally when we're kind of getting into that. I know it showed a scene with like Randolph saying, hey, if I die, you know, you're free from your employment obligations here, which in Scarlet Blaze, I'm trying to remember how we recruited them, what were the circumstances. I believe it was through the Knights, actually, because I remember we kill Rodrigue in that same chapter in that path. But in Golden Wildfire, we do actually recruit Byleth and Geralt after Randolph's sister Fleisch hires them, because there was the whole peace treaty we signed with the Empire, then we kind of stabbed Randolph in the back, because Claude was being Claude. But let's hop into it. And I don't know how long I'm going to go today, but we'll just see. Like I was saying, I just want to make sure I'm good to get this stuff done. I have no idea if things are going to be fixed today. They just said they were going to try and get it done. Bit unfortunate, but again, part of life.
Come on, Arval. Seriously? You can't drag me off to sleep like this when the battle's about to start.
Okay, so this scene tends to repeat itself a lot.
Do you remember the warning I once gave you? Well, I've been struck by a similar premonition now. Something feels wrong. Very wrong.
Last time this happened, the Ashen Demon showed up and nearly sent me to an early grave. You think the same thing's gonna happen today?
I do. A lot of this later to endgame stuff does seem to be very, very similar, actually. This conversation, the scene where possessed Shez gets rid of Solon. There's some really cool, like, a lot of things, I've mentioned this before, tend to be very similar. Almost like it's, again, a different point of view if you're with a different house than it would have been. You know, seeing what's happening around the same time. But some scenes like this appear to be basically mirror matches.
Unnecessary danger, yes. Remember, your death would cut both of our destinies far too short.
Yep, defeat Randolph. Okay, yeah, this is 100%. Like I was saying, the previous, like, before we ended the last stream, we had a pretty good feeling. That's why I went ahead and full cleared the chapter, with just the Vanguard whistles. But they made it really, really sound like that was the case. Now, interestingly enough, it doesn't seem like there's anyone to persuade on this one. But again, because it was chapter 10, not chapter 12 on both Golden Wildfire and Scarlet Blaze, it was actually Yuri that we recruited on chapter 10 in both of those paths. So, in that case, it looks like we can take every single strategy except one. Last time, the reason we failed, we got it first try on Golden Wildfire without looking anything up. And then on Scarlet Blaze, we failed twice, and then we looked it up and, you know, got it the next time. But the first time was actually because we were missing a specific strategy, and that's why we knew we'd probably need to full clear. But interestingly enough, yeah, no persuade units this time. And so I'm going to go ahead and assume locate amateurs. I am going to assume this top one's probably necessary. We'll do this one as well. The rest of these seem to be very stock standard, like, strategies for the story battles. I really like having the extra units to protect things. Not usually an issue, but it lets me be a little bit more lazy when it gets to helping some units. So we can slightly strengthen allies or slightly weaken allies. Let's just go with strengthen allies. Why not? As far as units go, oh yeah, we are probably gonna have to reorganize these. I don't know why. It always tends to just randomly kind of reorganize who you have up. But where's Dimitri? Do we not have Dimitri? He's right there, apparently. That might be why it auto-reassigned then. That's interesting. Yeah, it looks like we can't even use... Oh, I'm an idiot. I didn't even see these grayed out units. That's fine. As far as who else we'll use then, let's use Shamir. And Dorothy. It's really, really helpful in New Game Plus having all these units still leveled up, though. I don't really care what paired units we have. Yeah, we'll just see what we can figure out. 1,500 enemies, 15 minutes. I have no idea how hard it's going to be to recruit Byleth and Geralt in this path.
Taking this territory will greatly advance the war front. Now come, let us strike at their command. The
Let's get
enemy
into
has
it.
surrounded our main force, Your Majesty. We must clear them away.
Okay. Pretty straightforward so far. I'm assuming we're just gonna have to keep in mind any time there's something that seems semi-optional. For example, how in Golden Lampfart was, you know, Arvel's telling us kill Byleth. Claude was telling us run away. If there's anything like that, we'll have to keep that in mind. And let's maybe pair some people up too. Wrong button. I don't do this enough, but I'm just trying to genuinely think of what... I have an idea that, because both of the other paths had it to some extent, there will be a point at which we need to avoid fighting Byleth, and I don't know if having our unpaired units actually affects that. So, just a thought though. Let's see who's down here. It's Dorothea.
May I trouble you? I'm here for you.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember, again, just go off the context clues of what's happened in previous times. And last time, yeah, one recurring theme definitely was that we had to avoid fighting Byleth at some point, so we'll see how that goes.
We're gonna have a decision on our hands once they show up.
Here we go. But once we get Byleth and Geralt, that'll be really helpful too, because Byleth, it doesn't appear that we actually get Lysithea in this path. And after Shez, Lysithea was our strongest unit, then it was Byleth, then I think it was actually Geralt, in terms of levels and such, so... Let's see, is there anyone here? Don't want to pair up with these two. I don't want to pair up my main units, though. That does seem like a bit of a waste.
We won't have to worry about the enemy surprising us now.
So we know where the ambushers are. Advance without engaging the enemy ambushers.
Our auxiliary.
So it's these three, I'm assuming? Okay. I think I get it. I'm assuming we just have to follow this specific path then. Defeat the tricksters. So I'm assuming we want to avoid the ambushers? I don't know, maybe that gives them a clue as to where we are. I actually can't tell which one the ambushers are. Unless they're those ones with the blue arrow on the map, in which case we do need to follow this specific path. A little bit difficult to tell, honestly. Maybe it's not, actually. Maybe I'm just dumb. That's also... There's a chance that is the case, but... Yeah, let's save this unit here. I skip the side quest a lot, because a lot of times it's not really going to give you anything, but... Let's see. Where are all of our units, though? Okay, so... The ambushers are those blue units. I'm a little bit afraid that Ingrid is going to run up there and get into the fight. So you know what? Let's just have... her go back here. Okay. This gate is closed. Is there a gatekeeper around here? We're in a stronghold. Never mind, I'm down. I just love to do this first try, though, because restarting stage always feels a little bad. In this path, I know we've already restarted the one stage where I thought we had to rescue... Well, we'd have the chance to rescue Sylvain's brother. And then it turned out he does just die. I just hadn't been checking his health, and then he just dropped dead. And I was super confused. I was like, was I supposed to save him? But, again, I'm sure there's a slightly different path. I haven't looked it up. But since it says it'll impact the outcome of the story, I'm sure there's some slightly different path if we do fail to save... we'll fail to recruit Byleth and Geralt. But I'd really just not super interested. Maybe I'll do that on my own time, but as far as streaming it, I'd rather just rescue them both each time. To play. She does appear as though that's unavoidable. I think that on every path that wasn't the Empire, killing / defeating Randolph and Fleisch, whether it was in the same battle or separately, was unavoidable. So, although I do feel a little bad about it.
I'm so sorry.
Ooh.
Please stay safe.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything I can do about that, unfortunately. Alois is here. Look, where is Randolph? Is he up here? So we need to get to Randolph, I'm assuming. Based on what they said to Randolph saying that, you know, they'll be free from their obligations if he's defeated.
Ambushes are a textbook mercenary
on
tactic.
the
All will be lost
okay.
if our base falls. Send reinforcements.
Interesting. The mercenary raiders in
Closing
effect.
this gate might buy us some time.
Do we need to
This is
go?
all I can do.
I'm still just confused about the... Wait, what? Ingrid went down? Oh. I thought I set Ingrid down to our base. It's okay, we're not playing on Classic, so she won't go down, but... I'm gonna stick here for just a second. Just in the case that... we can go straight for Randolph.
Close the gate.
Huh. Random infiltrating the alley. Crud. Okay.
I'm the star now.
Maybe we do have to defeat them all. This is a little tough to tell though, because again, if we're supposed to be avoiding ambushers this entire time, and then it sends us to every single corner of the map, it just seems a bit odd.
Bring me someone worth my time.
I live for this. My turn.
Interesting. Maybe the arrows were just effectiveness versus not being effective against an enemy. I don't know. That's probably the case. I'm just genuinely confused because I don't see any indication as to who the ambushers actually were. Yeah, no, the arrows should just be... Are we supposed to engage Alois? Does he count as an ambusher?
Don't think I'll go down so easily.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, Alois. I feel like beating up Alois actually has been something we've done every time. So... We'll know we messed up if we get a cutscene with us killing Geralt, though. That's about the summation of what I'm thinking right now.
We will not let them inside our base.
Sure, right here. Just confused, because yeah, outside of... We'll just have to see. One more ambusher. That ambusher is going across a flying point, so I'm actually just going to shadow step down there. Or shadow slide down there, sorry. And hopefully... that'll just about do it. Use the last Wyvern Lord. Yeah, prevented Alois from trading. Hey, that's not very nice. Does Alois actually call? I mean, there are mercenaries. Maybe it's just a code name, but.
I'll be right there.
All right. So here's Byleth.
Alois has fled too.
Okay.
And it falls to me.
I am 100% certain that we should not be fighting Byleth here. So the thing I'm going to do is make sure that our allied units just stay far away from Byleth.
I'll provide support. Leave this one to me.
Just completely
Looks
don't
like
engage
you
her.
could use some help. I've got it.
And then we'll shadow step up here and take care of Randolph. And hopefully that'll do it. Again, I'd just be confused in that case because outside of avoiding the quote-unquote ambushers,
On me. Our moment for
nothing
victory
else
has
seemed
come.
optional. Because defeating Fleisch didn't seem optional. Defeating the 6 enemies there, including
I'd better fall back and help him out.
including Alleries, also didn't seem optional.
I know what must
Oh, did that do it?
Fleisch,
Sorry, Randolph.
forgive
He did seem
me.
like a pretty decent person, but you know, you're not with the
Done.
Empire.
If you want to protect your friends, you have to put an end to the demon.
Oh. That's probably it.
The Ashen
I get the feeling it's probably just, yeah, defeat Randolph before. Because to be fair, that was the case in, again, I'm trying to think about it as we go, but that was the case in Scarlet Blaze, was we needed to defeat, Rodrigue without engaging Byleth. So maybe it was just defeat Randolph
You are the
without
only
defeating,
ones who remain.
defeating
The question
Byleth.
now is,
Hmm.
you and your mercenaries yield.
Makes you wonder though,
I see no other choice.
Well fought, everyone.
interesting.
We emerge victorious.
Nice. Did we actually just do that first try, though? I was so sure the ambushers thing was going to be more important, but if this was the...
You got us.
Nice! No, we definitely did it. That's the voice line I think we got in both the other paths. That's interesting, though, because that does mean that Golden Wildfire had kind of a more unique way to do things. Because in Golden Wildfire, again, we had to retreat back to back to our, like, allied base with Claude without confronting Byleth. Whereas here, and on Scarlet Blaze, it was defeat the enemy commander without engaging. I'm just confused because I really did think that whole don't fight the, whatever.
You rolled right over
What?
us and took out our
Yeah,
employer.
nice.
I know when it's time to raise the white flag.
Wait, that's it? You're giving up?
We've faced you in battle many times, only to be bested at every turn.
To be fair, have we ever actually
Yeah, you've pretty much run us
straight
out
up
of
defeated
business
Byleth
now.
in, like, any of the
It's
timelines?
not easy finding new clients.
There's the
in
time we
best
thought
of
we had the upper
times.
hand, and then Selthus took over.
And no matter
all
how
that kind of
good
thing,
our
but-
reputation
Hmm.
is, none of it matters if we can't actually win. At this rate, I'll have to stop calling myself the Blade Breaker.
Maybe. Who knows? I
In
mean,
that case, what would you say
yeah,
to
I
a
was
new
gonna
empire?
say...
The Holy Kingdom of Fathers.
Dimitri foreshadowed that earlier in this path. I didn't know how
We've
much they
crossed
really...
swords many times and suffered great losses on
Hmm.
both sides.
I don't know if they... I
Surely
feel like they
there's some
really
bad blood
foreshadowed it
between us.
nearly as heavily
But part of me wonders if
in
we
other
give up
paths,
that
as
gruesome
far as, like, the
history
actual main
behind
lord,
us.
like Edelgard or Claude saying it, whereas Dimitri did
Assuming,
directly
of
say,
course,
like,
that
hey,
was
what if we
void,
just
not
hired
conviction
them, you
that
know?
brought you to the Empire's side.
But every single one of the
Don't
lords
worry,
does say, like,
words like conviction
yeah, as
aren't
long
even
as you
in a
weren't
merc's
cited against us
vocabulary.
because of, any reason other than
Do
your
join
mercenaries
up
and you were
with
getting
you.
paid, you know?
I can't imagine there will be much avoiding the Knights of Ceros.
That is different. That's
The
interesting.
problem is, me and the Archbishop
Hmm.
have a bit of a past together. I'd
Yeah.
prefer to keep my distance if I can.
Yeah, that's different,
Well,
though, but
remember
that's
this.
because...
The church has stationed
Hmm.
themselves in the town of Camulus within Blathed territory.
Yeah.
We'll be sure to keep you away from there. And I promise to warn you
Nice.
should Lady Rhea ever visit our encampment.
That's one of those cool little Easter eggs, because there's obviously a ton. Because even though Three Hopes takes place with the same characters relatively outside of Shez in the same universe, there's a lot of things that are obviously very different from Three Houses. And one of those things is that with Byleth not being the main character, the fact that Sothis is within Byleth due to some kind of meddling from Rhea, that's what I always understood it as, you know. It really wasn't mentioned, because in the other two paths, obviously, we didn't directly really interact with Rhea until the very end. So,
Ah,
just really
and
cool,
I'll
actually.
place you in a separate unit, should we ever fight alongside the knights themselves. Are those conditions agreeable? We could use your strength among our ranks, if you're willing to join.
Nice.
Yeah, you should join us. I mean, by now we all know firsthand how strong you are. And sure, there might be some folks here and there who have reservations about you fighting on our side. But they'll definitely come around once they see how dependable you are.
Yeah.
What do you say? I doubt the Empire will have any jobs for us after all of this. No better time for a fresh start.
I agree. And you, Eloise? It might be strange, being back on the same side as your old knight
Yeah.
friends.
I've mentioned this before too, but like I
Already made
just...
my decision. I have sworn to
Yeah.
follow this
I know that
fine
Aloys
to
had been
wherever he
comrades
goes.
prior, you know, a long time ago with Geralt, but it still seemed odd to me. I don't know, just Shamir leaving the Knights, but still somewhat working alongside them made sense to me, because she was always, you know, a foreigner, a previous mercenary, from what I understood again.
Guess that's that.
Could just be wrong, there's a lot of times I find out about, especially like Fire Emblem games, where I find out I was just misunderstanding things.
You two, stay here with the client.
But still.
Got it, thanks.
Aloys just didn't make as much sense to me, because I just always thought he was more of a loyal knight character.
We have a good bit of smoothing over to do on our end as well. Let's get to it.
Interesting. But that makes me think we'll still have the, again, as long as we recruit Byleth and Jarrett, we will still have the scenario where at some point Shez gets possessed by Arvel, attacks Byleth, and then we end up in that, you know, Arvel's side realm. Maybe not the case, but again, a lot of those, I would say about 75 to endgame, 75% of the way through the endgame in each path, have several of those scenes the same, if you do recruit Byleth and Gerald, so just interesting. More support. We have so many support conversations, I don't even know if we're gonna do them all, honestly. I've been thinking about that too, and it's just, don't know if I'm motivated to do so.
It feels strange standing here with the Bladebreaker and the Ashen Demon after all we've been through.
I still just have such a hard time taking anything Ash says like that seriously, because Ash is literally the only member of the Blue Lions that you have on every path. Unless maybe I missed a recruitment character, but this game makes it very clear when you can recruit characters, I feel. But yeah, we had Ash on all three paths and Mercedes also on Scarlet Place. So
We
I don't know why.
so many times.
Oh shit, just goes
I
off on her
never
own.
expected we would end up on the same side.
Those two give us quite the struggle. All the better that they're on our side now. I've got my own grievances, but the end result is a positive one.
I feel like that's the way a lot of people probably feel about
Whatever
this.
we may feel, this is His Majesty's choice.
Not everyone will be too happy about it, but let's all just try and get along, okay? Though I'm sure the Ashen Demon being such a stunning beauty will
Oh
soften the blow.
my gosh, Sylvain.
Kidding,
Jeez.
of course.
I thought you had outgrown those jokes. Why don't you do us all a favor and stay quiet?
It'll be an honor teaming up with you. Oh, and don't let me forget to introduce you to everyone later. I think we should start with a nice sparring session. That's the Blue Lion's way, isn't it?
Indeed it is. I recall the same thing happening the last time we invited a mercenary into our ranks.
We're happy to be here, and
You know,
try to fit in, kid.
honestly, I don't know why, but I remember in Three Houses, genuinely of the four paths, I enjoyed all of them, but it's just, maybe it's because I did Church Route followed by Empires Route first, and then I did Alliance, and then again of my four favorite characters, Lysithia's in the Golden Deer, Dorothea's in the Black Eagles, and then Shamir and Catherine are obviously Knights of Saros. I never really connected quite too well with a lot of the characters in the Blue Lions. But honestly, this path has actually endeared a lot of them to me.
What you're capable of.
I don't know why,
I'm
but
glad such might will now be fighting for our cause.
it's just been a
rather
nice
than
path.
against it.
I really do think that, I don't know how popular it's been overall, because I know Three Houses was very popular, and like, they did make Byleth an enemy temporarily and such, but I think Three Hopes was a good addition to this, to the franchise.
As one unified force. I'll do what I must to ensure Lady Rhea doesn't come into contact with our new friends here.
Well, potentially, assuming we don't engage the, assuming Rhea, again, on this path, which I genuinely don't think seems to be the case, isn't the final boss of this path, It does seem as though...
Sorry about all this, Arval.
Oh, it's the apology to
I
Arval.
know you've only been
It does seem as though the remaining enemies we have to take care of on this path are those who slither in the dark, and the Empire, which does include retaking Garrick Mach. So, interesting. Because we already obviously took care of Cornelia, which I think settled down a lot of the internal strife within the kingdom. And here we've taken care of, you know, the Geralt Byleth issue that exists in every path.
I hope you're right.
What's wrong? Feeling lost now that you don't have an enemy to chase around the countryside?
I'm not lost. I know exactly what I've got to do. Win this war. I'm gonna help Dimitri and my friends make a new Fodlan where everyone can live in peace. Well, any snarky follow-up for that?
Honestly, though,
It's hardly the first time you mentioned it.
I don't know if I'd want Arval or Sothis in my head. They're both extremely sassy.
Then I'll just have to help you achieve it. After all, I'm your partner in destiny. I'm here for you and you alone.
I pray for your safety in the coming battle, Your Majesty. You can rest easy. We will cover the Western Front in your absence.
I don't know what I've done to deserve such reliable knights in my service, but I thank you all the same. The monastery will be ours. I swear it. Now then, let us all live to see the sun rise on Fargus another day.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Guess this is it. The final push.
Indeed.
You know, honestly though, the fact that we recruited Byleth and Geralt a couple chapters later really does make me wonder, surely this path is probably still 16 chapters plus endgame, but
We're well acquainted with what Adrestia is capable.
that's been on the back of my mind too.
It's difficult to predict what we'll be up against. All we can do now is take up arms to fight, survive, and ultimately carve our way to victory.
Every one of our battles so far has been important, yes.
Yeah, I would say
This
so,
one
but...
seems almost overwhelmingly so.
And we have to consider during this entire time there was like a 6-month time skip. Something is very clearly wrong with Edelgard. That's why,
so quick.
Ferdinand's father, Duke von Eyre, is currently the regent of the Empire. It's why the Empire's citizens and everything are being ransacked and abused. Something's wrong.
Say we do get the monastery.
But...
What happens then?
We push forward to Enbar, of course.
yeah, I was gonna say.
After that, I can't
It really makes you wonder though, because none of the 3 leaders have died. Even if other people have died, Dimitri, Edelgard, and Claude have survived every single one of the other... Well, both of the other 2 paths. But again, we saw Demon Edelgard for a second. And I thought that was going to be permanent, after those who slither in the dark kind of messed with her. Tallis did. But then, we obviously just saw her in a few more scenes after that, where she was just kind of unable to speak. Was very clearly, like, brainwashed or something was going on. Really makes you wonder, though. Is she going to be okay? Or is this a path where, you know, she's used by those who slither in the dark as a weapon, and then maybe she's the quote-unquote final enemy, alongside Tallis? Because that is what caught me off guard about Scarlet Blaze, was the final boss wasn't just Rhea and the knights like it was in Golden Wildfire. It did include Tallis, and it was like a dual final battle.
Come on, everyone. We've got to get to ALL before the enemy catches on to us.
Just having this conversation, though, about our overall strategy. There was still the strategy, though, of obviously... it's interesting that they did tie in recruiting Byleth and Geralt into it, but the idea was for the Alliance and the Kingdom to kind of cause some issues outwardly within the Empire by just, you know, attacking, which is what we were doing, and then kind of conversion get rid of the enemies in the Garrick Mach Monastery. So we'll have to see how this goes. Yeah, exactly. This is what it's saying. Kind of draw their attention, and then head straight for Garrick Mach.
Valley of Torment and begin the march to reclaim Garrick Mach. However, the Empire will not sit idly by and let them take it.
And you had to wonder how well this strategy would work, because while it seems like a good idea on paper, you then still have to draw your armies from those fronts to Garrick Mach to do the pincer attack. So what's to say that didn't also give the Empire time to draw a bunch of their forces back, you know? It depends on scouting, because it's still fairly sizable armies moving.
Every last soldier we could find is in formation and raring to go.
Okay.
You'll see for yourself soon enough, and I think you're gonna like how it's looking. Are you planning on heading south right away?
That was my intention, yes. Why? Does something trouble you?
A bit, yeah. We got a report just over a month ago that Count Burgley's had withdrawn from
Oh, okay, so maybe they are here. That's something you probably should have mentioned immediately, no?
line up exactly with when we pulled our
Little
own
Claude.
forces back. It's all a little too convenient, if you ask me.
Yeah.
What I'm not sure of is whether he puzzled out our plan with Garrett Mock, or if he fell back to fortify Embar instead.
To be fair, Count Burgley's isn't exactly the tactical type,
Crafty the people calling the
but
shots for the Imperials are.
yeah, I was gonna say there's a lot of people who probably could see through that.
He's right. We had our hands full and more over in the west. Every time we claimed a territory, we'd look for spots to set up camp, only to find the army had razed all the towns and fields to the ground as they retreated.
If they're going that far, there's a good chance they've caught on to our plan. Though I doubt they're expecting all their enemies to come marching through the Valley of Torment hand in hand.
Well, we can say that, but again, in both the other paths, there was an armistice signed between the Alliance and the Empire.
Practically swimming in sweat in this heat. Let's just hope we're almost out.
I see you have scarcely changed from your days at the Academy, Hilda.
Sedith and Lady Rhea, are you joining the cause as well?
Where are you taking Garrett Mock?
I refuse to spectate from afar while the fate of Fodlan hangs in the balance.
Well, sure, but if something were to happen to you, it would be the end of the whole church.
I am capable.
It's interesting that they're having this conversation, though, given what they've said about not appreciating the current system of the Church of Fodlan in both of the other paths. But we'll have to see.
Traverse it unnoticed. We should arrive at Garrett Mock without incident.
I really did feel like of the three paths after doing the other two, Azure Gleam was probably going to be the most unique of the three, and so far I would say that's been the
We
case.
must exercise the utmost caution as we proceed. Our movements
Although I
should be not
think-
only swift, but
Well,
sensible.
what I mean by that is, like, obviously we dealt with, like, in Golden Wildfire, we dealt with the Almirans as a unique thing. And in Scarlet Blaze, we dealt with those who slither in the dark. So far, I think a lot more. But as far as, like, the events that happened, you know, obviously there's no armistice between the Alliance and the Empire, because they're not allies anymore, they're allied with us. We obviously, our unique thing was dealing with Cornelia, which was also technically those who slither in the dark, I think. But more internal strife. But as far as, like, the overall events, the overarching events that happen, I don't know, to me it feels like this one has been more unique than the other two. But obviously each path had very specific things that happened that weren't shown in other paths. But again, it's mostly stuff like, you know, that kind of really seemed to change things. And this is another big thing, though. I really don't know if Rhea is going to be an enemy in this path, which is, like, super different. But if we make peace, if Edelgard dies, then maybe that's the catalyst that causes Rhea to maybe live in this path. But again, if all three leaders live, how do we make peace with Edelgard when I feel like a big part of the reason this war was started was to depose Rhea? You know, get rid of the current system. It's just difficult to tell. But we'll see. Here we go. Let's see what the battle suggestions are.
Would you mind listening
And this
to
is a
my
one.
idea?
Why not? Let's just do morale. This is a singular battle chapter from the looks of things, so should be pretty fast. We'll just hurry through, use like our training points and chore points and stuff, and then we'll get going. We could do, you know what? Maybe we'll do a few support conversations as well. Who knows?
Time to work you into shape.
So we got training. I wanted to throw Byleth in here with characters that we don't have on any other path, which is a fair number, just to see what their support conversations are. So let's try Catherine here. Just because you're still getting support points, I'm pretty sure, while they're doing this. As far as actually mastering their own classes, I think pretty much everyone's at that point. Roderick needs to be thrown in. I mean, basically everyone from another path is... yeah, we should be good. I could move some of those units around, get some more affinity, but it's mostly just...
I'll be able to help even more.
I'm just really curious. I could have thrown, maybe I should have thrown Geralt in with someone. I am curious to see what some of these units have to say to each other, but... What? They're already at A? Oh, you know what? Maybe it's because I was doing, in my off-stream grinding, I think I was using Catherine and Byleth. That's interesting. Anyway, double check acquired classes, though. Lord, Great Knights, more response. I'm fairly certain everyone's at their Master tier class. Yeah, we should be good. Yeah, okay. Anyway. The downside to these one chapter quests is we spend a higher proportion amount of time doing this stuff.
Hunger is the true enemy.
You know, not that we spend too much time though, just because we really do, you know, just kind of do our own thing here. And skip like all the stages with the Vanguard whistles, but still.
Yeah, but...
Oh, wow, you really know your stuff.
Nice.
Come back whenever you're hungry.
Again, this is mostly just because at this point what I've been doing is it's less about like who we have high support level with and like what that support level is between them, for example, there. Yeah. Okay. Let's try this. I still haven't figured out exactly how much support points you need for each level. I'm sure there's some sort of system. You just see the gauge here, really, I feel. Let's see. Gatekeeper, maybe. Really, why not? Like I was saying, we have so many support conversations in this path. I don't know if I'll do them all on stream. My main priority is finishing out the game. And making sure we do paralogues and such. And then we'll see. Just because I have no idea if this internet thing's going to be fixed. So, I'm really hoping, but worst comes to worst, you know, we just do that main stuff. And then support conversations I'll just do off stream. I'm sure if there's anyone you're particularly interested in, anyone stopping by, you can find them online. Because there's usually people who do, like, dedicated videos without commentary and stuff for every single one. In fact, that's how I saw most of the support conversations on Awakening and Fates that I didn't want to, or didn't manage to get. So, there's always that. But yeah, we maxed out these twos together, I think. Yeah. And... Is Byleth really maxed out with some of these characters? Like I said, I thought I used Catherine during my, like, records all grinding. I did not think I used Shamir. So, just odd. Interesting. Instances. Okay, let's focus on knights that we won't have on any other path. That'll work.
We all must do our fair share. Care to make yourself useful?
Well, Mercedes we have on Empire path, but yeah, that'll work.
We all must do our fair share to make yourself useful.
Lawrence. I really haven't maxed out Lawrence or Ignaz's affinity, huh? We've had them on all three paths. That's genuinely surprising to me. Is there anyone that we know? Okay. To be fair, I also haven't ever used them outside of their, like, paralogue, but the Raphael, Ignaz, Lawrence paralogue, you do have on every single path as well. So that's just genuinely surprising me, but let's do at least a couple support conversations, and maybe we'll do a paralogue as well. Let's see, Felix? Sure. I'm curious what he has to say. Sounds like sparring.
What's wrong? Your footwork is even sloppier than usual.
He is definitely pretty blunt all the time, huh?
It's nothing. There's just been a lot on my mind lately is all. And I was kind of lost in thought when you lunged at me, so I couldn't really react too well.
Training isn't the time for idle contemplation. You're worthless as a sparring partner if you let your mind wander. Not to mention that you do the same thing in actual battles.
Oh, does she? Jeez. That's when it's actually dangerous.
Training is one thing. Do it out there, and the enemy will cut you down without
Well, I'm sure
hesitation.
Shez is aware of that too. They are mercenary, Felix. Like,
we've been through this before. If there's something on your mind, just come out with it already.
I don't know what it is actually, but we should probably just tell him.
You have a pretty good read on me now, too.
Okay.
It was obvious something was wrong from the way you were fighting. And this is just payback for last time, so no complaining.
I still wonder, do they spar with their actual weapons? In which case...
If you say so.
Seems kind of dangerous, but...
There's still something I don't understand, though. Where did you learn to fight like that?
Oh yeah, that's true. Was that ever...
don't move like a knight, but I've
directly
never seen a
mentioned, yeah.
mercenary use those techniques either.
I guess you could say I taught myself.
Oh, okay, it was self-taught.
Really have one
that makes
teacher
sense
who
too, just
showed
like an
me
amalgamation of everything that works for you
If
as you go on.
anything, I just kind of picked stuff up as I moved from one band of mercs to the next.
And I've wondered how many bands of mercenaries Shez was with over
Why
time.
your style was so hard to read. Both knights and mercenaries use a standard set of battle-tested tactics.
Oh, really?
A book they all play by.
Makes you wonder if there's like different sword forms or stuff like
bound
that,
to
weapon
any
forms.
single convention.
A lot of like, I don't know, anime, manga, you know, really any series or stuff tends to have like, okay, this is this specific style. Lots of people use it, you know.
When I think about it like that,
Not really something
it
that's
might have been
mentioned
for
as
the
much
best
in
that I
Fire Emblem,
taught
but
myself instead of
interesting.
subscribing to a particular school of thought.
A unique style all your own. Fascinating.
Yeah, overall though.
Teach me.
I've always figured with stuff like this, it's probably just
But
use
I'm the
what
only one who can use my sword. It won't be
use
easy
what works
to
for you.
replicate.
That's for me to decide. If nothing else, I can adapt
I was gonna
your
say
moves
too,
for my
like,
own purposes. The more
can't he just pick up a
styles I know,
second
the
sword?
better.
I'd agree to teach
You
him.
say so. I don't know
Even
how
if he
this is
can't
gonna
physically
go,
use most of the
but I'll
moves, because
do
he
what I
does use
can.
one sword again.
Oh,
And
you
Shez,
can teach me in exchange.
yeah, really
The
just
more
based on
styles,
two
the
swords,
better,
but still.
right?
Why not?
You fight sorta like a knight, but also sorta not.
Hmm.
I mean that in a good way, of course. I'm not sure how to put it. It's almost like you react to the situation as it plays out.
It's actually a pretty good way to fight.
So, yeah. If we can combine our two styles somehow, I bet we'll both end up stronger for it.
Maybe so.
Okay. Interesting. I'm still wondering at what point these, Oh. Oops. I've been wondering this entire time, I've never clicked on it, at what point they ungate the conversations. We just missed the opportunity to do that. I didn't think that was going to be a thing in Three Hopes. That's, Oh. Awkward. I might look those up later. That or I'll do the paths again on my own time. But, yeah, I didn't realize that was a thing in this match. In that case, that also makes me think... That's awkward. Okay. Well, that's the consequence for not doing all the support conversations as you get them. Oops. Yeah, I didn't think that was gonna be a thing. But I'd been sitting here. I'd mentioned this, I think, a stream or two ago as well. I was like, I know they all unlock for like the main lord. It always did unlock each single one at a specific point. I just didn't realize that it was going to be a missed opportunity. That being said, though, we obviously have maxed out affection with him, and Rodriguez at B, so who knows. But this is definitely the type of game that I might just play again on my own time. I've redone a few of the Three Houses paths as well. Just for fun, honestly. Do enjoy the series. But, yeah, anyway, guess we'll maybe... Do we have flame? Maybe we'll do the two... I just really enjoy doing the Shez support conversations, honestly. We'll do these two and then move on. Maybe do a paralogue, hop into the story.
The day you shut yourself in your room to read. I hear you've been pouring through every book on magic you can get your hands on.
Interesting.
Hey, I read sometimes.
Sylvain has a crest,
Anyway,
but does he really use
I had this
magic?
great idea I needed to do some research for.
Isn't he a holy knight, actually, now that I think about it?
I'm afraid to ask. Wait, what's that diagram?
A perceptive question. This here is a blueprint I came up with for a new kind of fire
Oh,
orb.
interesting.
Really? You're talking about those flame-flinging siege weapons, right? because that looks pretty small for a fire orb.
You can make a portable version.
Well, that's the point. I want to make it
Yeah.
so that our knights can carry one around as easily as they do their swords.
What would that accomplish? Knights don't have the training to use something like that.
Yeah.
Right you are. The wielder needs both special training and some natural magical ability to use one.
Okay.
At least that's the case with our
That does
current
make
fire
sense.
orbs. Which brings me to my main goal, making it so that anyone can use them, no matter their
Ah,
background.
nice. That does align with
Think
the
about
whole,
the
like,
havoc
let's
we
get
could
rid of
make
the
if
current
the
system of
average knight or
nobles and stuff.
myrmidon could also blast out some fire
Also,
magic whenever
maybe
they
eliminates the
wanted.
needs for crests and such as well. And it makes sense that Sylvain would,
That's actually a great idea, Sylvain.
be thinking about this because
I
his
bet we could
big
come
brother
up with
didn't
some
have a
amazing
crest, you know?
battle strategies with those things.
Right? I knew someone as special as you would understand. Either way, it won't be ready anytime soon. I'm not sure when I'll finally be done with it, honestly.
If you don't hurry, the war will be over before you're finished.
Maybe.
Battle's not the only place it'll come in handy. People who don't have any other training could use it for self-defense.
Oh, there we go.
Come to
It's a
think of
small
it,
pocket-sized fire
that's the
orb.
same reason
He's
you
making
were so
pepper spray.
interested in my sword. Does this have to do with
He's
House
making
Gautier?
he's making
I
the
know your
Fire Emblem
family's been
version of
dealing
pepper
with
spray.
Sorn for years now.
Jeez.
Yeah, more or less. We've gone through some pretty tough times.
Hmm.
My father's first wife, Miklon's mom,
Yeah,
she
Miklon
died
is
in
his
this
name.
Rang raid. We've managed to hold the border for about 100 years now, thanks to the Lance of Ruin.
Oh, don't
They
we have
keep
that
pushing
weapon?
Our limits.
Hmm.
Frankly, I admire their determination.
It did seem like Margrave Gautier
Interesting.
was pretty
So maybe
used
the
to fending
Srengs are a
off their
similar
attacks.
version to the
It's
Almirans.
not like he's had much choice.
Hmm.
Once I inherit his title, I'll keep doing whatever I can to hold them off. But it's going to be tough without a stronger military.
That makes sense.
If the king had forces of his own, he could send them in at a moment's notice whenever we were in trouble. The problem is, the last king already tried something like that.
Oh.
It ticked the local lords off
Probably
to
hurt
no
their
end.
pride.
Makes sense. If the king grows stronger,
Hmm.
everyone else loses a little bit of their own influence.
I mean,
in
you'd think,
comparison.
especially the knights of all
Anyone
people, would
would have
just
a hard time
prioritize the safety of their
swallowing that.
people over a little bit of influence, but
I'd say it's worth it if it
Who
means
knows?
the kingdom won't descend into chaos.
Hmm.
Whatever the case, any reforms we enact will need to be peaceful and well-founded.
yeah.
Which is exactly why I want us to be able to fight on our own, without having to rely on our relic or on other lords.
Wow, Sylvain,
Hmm.
you actually sound like a real heir now. It's a nice change from all the skirt chasing you used to do.
Hey, the future of my house
Jeez.
is on the line here. Even the laziest guy in the world would be worried about that.
That's fair.
Sure, the kingdom might be a
I mean,
half
I'm not a
frozen
good
stretch
example of
dirt,
this by any
but
means, but at some point,
it's
you do gotta
my
grow up a little bit
half-frozen
and
stretch of
try to be
dirt.
responsible.
And it's the only home I've got.
And I'm sure, you know, having to take over a set amount of land, you know, as a lord, definitely causes that. And I think at some point it was mentioned too that originally Sylvain wasn't going to be the next leader of House Gautier, I think is how you pronounce it. Until something happened with Miklon. Miklon, I think, mentions that no, I left on my own accord, stuff like that, even though he didn't have a crest, which is also interesting because maybe that does mean, despite his lack of a crest, he was going to be inheriting, or maybe I'm just remembering wrong. Maybe it was always going to be Sylvain, because Sylvain has a crest. But just interesting, and again, it makes sense that he would be focused on that because of what happened with his brother. I actually think that's really cool. But here we go. Last time Wishes we had was with Flame. What's interesting here is, I remember at first we really thought because the ... dots are every support conversation that Shez was going to have 3 conversations with everybody. But that's obviously not the case. And again, I should have noticed that earlier because we've got characters like the Ashen Wolves here that made that clear. But what's interesting here is, it appears as though with Flynn we have 2 conversations, but the first one is on support level B, which means that by this point we already have somewhat of a relationship with Flynn. I don't know if they've really taken that into account. They probably did, but
You're
interesting.
looking rather sharp today.
Oh, thanks, Flynn.
Huh? But this is just
Yeah.
the same thing I always wear. It's actually so dirty, it's kind of embarrassing.
It's really astounding to me too how many lines every single voice actor for this game probably had to record, because every single person seems to have at least one support rank with everyone else, even if it's not a conversation. And obviously, but there's also the different lines for every single path, every single support conversation, the paralogues and stuff. It's kind of interesting. Just really cool to think
Well,
about.
aren't you humble? I happen to think that all that grime complements your rugged appearance rather well.
It's nice to say.
Grime?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if that's... That's the type of thing that genuinely... I don't know if I don't think Flame means it in a rude way, but I don't know if that's something you'd ordinarily go up to someone and say, like, oh yeah, don't worry. Like, if someone's like, oh no, I'm super dirty, I don't feel like I look all that great. You don't then just say, don't worry, all the grime and dirt and stuff on you, it suits you, but I don't think Flame means it in an offensive way.
Hey, if that's how you see it, I'll take it. These clothes are probably starting to stink a bit, though.
Well, they're on a constant war march.
Hold on. I smell something, and it's definitely not grime. Flame, are you wearing perfume?
Oh.
You noticed? This delightful fragrance is apparently in
Okay.
fashion. A dear friend of mine gave it to me.
Wow.
Okay.
I can't believe there's still perfume and fashion.
Yeah, that seems a bit surprising.
Dark times.
Although with nobles being nobles, maybe that's...
Precisely because of the times. We must not allow the darkness to consume us.
Well, having amenities and morale and stuff does help, I'm sure.
I'm not sure we're gonna get consumed, but you've definitely got a point. The battlefield can be a depressing place. A little positivity goes a long way in raising morale.
I've also been wondering if Male Shez is just the same repeated lines or if they're different, but
Trends always livens up a conversation. Don't you agree? Oh, I know. Why don't we go to town and seek out the newest styles?
The thing is, there's no S rank in this game, which is a big factor, I think, when there's differences between male and female characters like Byleth and Robin. Just interesting. Was that the entire conversation?
Okay.
Oh no.
Next is... that stall over there appears to have some lovely merchandise.
But continuing on that thought, before we continue, since I played Awakening the most of any of the Fire Emblem games with support conversations, my thought there was like, male Robin and female Robin do have a lot of conversations that are very similar up until S rank, but I know there's some that are distinctly different. Like a big example is Tiki. Male Robin's conversation with Tiki was the one where, you know, Tiki mistakenly calls him Marth, and then they have the conversation where it's like, oh, she had mistaken him not because of, like, appearance, obviously, because Robin says, wouldn't Crom remind you more of him, but more in personality, yada yada, and then that leads into the S rank, where he says, you know, oh, it's kind of nice to at least be called by someone else's nickname since Robin has amnesia at the start of the story, that stuff, and then in the S rank, Tiki explains, well, I can't call you that because you've also become a very singular person to me, and it's very sweet. Whereas female Robin's conversation is like, she realizes that Tiki sleep talks, and tries to get, like, information on, oh, were you actually in love with Marth? You always talk about stuff like that. And it's just one of those sillier ones. Whereas male Robin's support conversation was a bit of a sad romance. But I'm trying to remember if any other ones were distinctly different. But a lot of them, I think, were very, very similar. With, like, an S rank tacked on, depending on, you know, were you male Robin or were you female Robin, what the character was and everything. But that's just what's made me wonder. But that's another one of those things that, with Xenoblade 3 coming up and just how much time it would take to really go through all the paths again. And, you know, obviously not, you know, I could go through again and stream or record every single path with, I don't know, male Shez and not recruit Byleth or Geralt just to see all the differences. But I think overall that would take so much time that I'm probably not going to do it. I might do it on my own time, but probably won't stream or record it.
Worry not. My brother is still working. He mentioned he was particularly busy today
Just talking
as
about
well.
Seth here, but I don't know. I just can't help but make those connections with Fire Emblem games. Or a lot of other games, honestly.
Does Sedith not allow it? He sure seems to want you in arm's reach
Yeah.
at all times.
Sedith is very, very overprotective, especially with how much, you know,
That is correct.
the Empire is becoming a threat to the Church of Saros.
Incessantly about me. Were you a gentleman? I am certain the situation would have become quite disastrous.
Yeah, see, that's what makes me wonder.
Disastrous?
What conversations, if any, would be different.
But enough about that. Shall we continue?
That, or maybe she just says Shez isn't a gentleman.
I'm sure there are many more fashionable items
That would be
just
pretty good
waiting
too.
to be found.
Are you sure it's all right? What if someone says something? If Sedith
Maybe.
hears we were out alone together, then he'll...
I do not believe anyone would go to such lengths just to tattle on us. Most people find my brother intimidating, so it is unlikely anyone would approach him
Well,
over something.
maybe they
so
would, but I feel
trivial.
like they'd be worried about also catching the brunt of
I'll keep you
Sedith's
company a bit
frustration.
longer then.
Hey,
is kind of funny.
Not I who initially offered to keep you company?
Yeah.
You did?
Don't you remember? You spoke of your low spirits and said that the latest fashions
No, we
would
didn't.
cheer you
What?
up.
I did?
Yes, you did. Now come along. Let us look over there next.
Oh, maybe that's one of those. That's how she was feeling.
Oh well, not gonna rain on
Yeah.
her parade now.
That's how she was feeling, and she doesn't want to admit it. That's fair. You've got to consider, like, Seth is not the type to show it. But I'm sure Flane is probably very heavily affected. I'm sure, well, everyone's very, I'm sure, from the Knights in the Church of Zeros is super affected by all this. And there's the argument made to, like, well, with everything going on, maybe it's, I don't know. It's just difficult to say.
Which battlefield are you headed to?
Let me see. Evil's Bane and Love's Protection. That's a new one. But yeah, there's a lot of paralogues here, though. We have, what, 1, 2, 3. I did go ahead on my own time, get rid of the 2 we done. Obviously, the Ashen Wolves. And, the, Lauren's, the one with Lauren's, Raphael, and Ignatz, because we've done those 2 on our Golden Wildfire path. But we do have 7 here. I'm not gonna do the people one or even try it until the very end because it's level 80. But let's do one of these lower level ones. It looks like this is the lowest level one. I think the lowest level any of our characters are right now in the Blue Lions is like 30, so we should be good. But let's do this one paralogue, then we'll move back to the main story. Most likely we'll hit a point though where we just do all the paralogues in a row. But I don't mind doing 1 or 2 here. Well, aren't spirits high here?
Well, you 3 are a merry bunch.
Yeah.
If this is how you're gonna approach the next battle, I better go buy some white cloth so we can start
Oh my
selling our
gosh.
surrender flags.
Sorry. I was lost in thought for a second.
I didn't even read what this paralogue was about. That just occurred to me.
You don't say. What's got you down?
I just never imagined we'd all be fighting together here in Dusker.
Okay, we're in Dusker. That's
You come back here often, right, Dedu?
yeah, I was gonna say that's
I've
the
heard
dude's
His
hometown,
Majesty
isn't it?
say as
Or home
much on
territory?
multiple occasions.
Yes.
Well, Dusker is still quite new to most of us, so we will definitely be depending on you.
Okay.
A word, Ingrid. It's true we shouldn't wallow in the past, but there is also no need for false cheer.
Huh.
Sure, but considering who we're going up against, it's not like we've got happy days ahead.
Who are we going up
We'll
against?
be fighting a Dusker militia, right?
Oh,
Yeah, we've been asked to put down
insurrection.
an
Okay,
some sort of internal disagreement.
that's interesting.
Dusker is divided. Some seek peace with Fargus. Others reject it.
Yeah. Well, that's
Things have been getting
fair
better
enough,
between our
honestly.
two lands of late, but there are still plenty of folks who can't let the old grudges go.
Yeah.
Hey, I get it.
Yeah,
A lot of
I was
these
gonna say,
people
I mean,
lost
you have to
everything.
consider if this was an old territory that Fargus
His
was at war
Majesty
with,
still seeks to make amends.
there's gonna be those people who are
He's
still
come here
alive
for
probably
speeches
that did
countless times.
suffer heavy losses. And just because someone comes by and says, hey, let's get along now,
Effort.
that doesn't make it easy.
Well, you still seem awfully gloomy if that's all this is. I mean, I get that this is a place where important folks died, but that's not exactly unusual, you
Yeah,
know?
maybe not if you're a mercenary, but
There's more. The leader of this insurrection aided the people who killed the late king
Oh.
all those years ago. So we're not just here to put down some random rioters.
yeah,
Our
that
real
does
task
make
is to
things a little bit
arrest the
different too.
leader and bring him back to
Interesting.
That man played a key role in the tragedy of Dusker.
You'd think Dimitri would be here then, though,
And he's
if that was the case.
responsible for Glenn's death.
Wait, hold on. This guy's from Dusker, right? I thought they had nothing to do with all that.
The vast majority did not.
But a few
Okay.
did, even if they weren't the brains behind the whole thing. We always knew some from Dusker were involved, as guides, if nothing else. And the boar has been working with Dusker's leadership to find out who they were.
Sounds
Maybe
like
that's
word
the
got
explanation for
out.
why Dimitri isn't here, though.
Still,
He's
inciting a rebellion
working with
seems
stuff
like
like
a
that. I
pretty
mean, there is still a
last-ditch
war and
effort to
everything going
avoid
on.
justice.
It's really hard to tell. I mean, I'm assuming these paralogues are meant to happen when you get them available.
Will you be able to stay your hand, Ingrid?
Like at that exact point in the story, but still
I will honor His Majesty's wishes.
a little bit difficult to tell sometimes.
This leader has information we need, so we have to take him alive.
no matter how much I may want to do otherwise. We'll uncover the truth and punish whoever is guilty.
Okay.
That will have to suffice as my revenge.
I think there are a lot of people who'd like a crack at this guy. Which is why we're here and a certain someone isn't.
His Majesty placed faith in us.
Okay, well there you go.
Let him down.
Just as I was talking about it for a little bit, they gave us a direct explanation, but still. Honestly, I wouldn't, as much as it'd be like, oh yeah, you'd want to cheer him up, I don't think this would be the time where I'd want to.
Don't worry. Once the battle starts,
directly like get into that.
Come on, let's get this show.
Because at that point, I'd worry about making it worse. Not that I wouldn't want to cheer him up, but I'd worry that I'd make it worse. Okay. So what have we got? 32, 31, 31. And I think this was literally like a level 31 match, so stage, I mean. So, interesting. Yeah, 1,800 enemies, 15 minutes. Shouldn't be too hard. Paralogues themselves usually aren't too bad. I've been trying to S-rank all the paralogues, though, when we do them, just because you get, like, a fancy... What's it called? Battalion? Which, to be fair, haven't really been changing. I've been doing it in my off-stream grinds a bit, but I haven't worried too much about battalions, honestly. They very clearly make a difference. A lot of them have that effect where it's like, you do extra damage against this one specific type of enemy or something, which is nice, but literally damage hasn't been a huge issue at any point, I feel. But as always, primary unit we're going to use in most of these is probably going to be Shez. How do we get in? I don't see a gatekeeper. Hold on, let me look at the map real quick. We maybe just have to defeat those highlighted enemies right away. I don't remember if I even changed their weapons and stuff out. I know I've leveled everybody's like Tactics Academy up to some extent during my off-stream grinds. Like you can tell, I think pretty much everybody has 3 A-charge bars as well. I'm going the wrong way. But it looks like they ran this way. But overall, I think for most of these paralogues, it just makes the most sense to use Shez. Shez is level 77. It's going to be the fastest way to do it. Looks like the dew is directly next to the last one. There we go. So the Dusker soldiering should this works. I wonder if there's a chance that if we don't do it fast enough, those soldiers go down. I'm sure we're probably okay, but we'll have to see. Because it says aid the Dusker soldiers, but it doesn't say anything about like before they go down. But if they're allied units on the map that have health bars, there's still a chance. While we're doing this, I suppose we should honestly send each of them out to take some of the further out forts. Like, we'll have him go there, and we'll have Ingrid fly up here. And then Felix is closer to that center one, but we'll just run up to the center one here.
These woods are dense.
You certainly know the terrain. Did you live around here?
Interesting. I wonder how big of a territory, though, Dusker is overall. Just interesting, because it's one of those things too, like, Lysithea didn't seem to ever be, like, super familiar. Granted, I don't think we ever told her exactly where in Ordelia territory Shez grew up, but it's constantly mentioned that Shez lived for some time in Ordelia territory, which makes you wonder... That is an interesting voice. But it just makes you wonder, you know, with Lysithea, if Shez had ever told Lysithea, and again, I don't recall her ever doing so, this is where in Ordelia territory I grew up, which you have known, oh, that's exactly where. But it's cool, too, that there's, like, a specific place that Shez is from, because even Byleth, you know, it's always mentioned that she was born at least near Garrick Mach, because of the fact that, you know, obviously Rhea did something. I think her mother was actually part of the monastery, if I remember correctly, all that stuff. It's been such a long time since I played Three Houses, but stuff like that, was interesting, but I just don't know. Just seems a little bit different to me, but I'm genuinely trying to remember. I think it is mentioned, though, that, it's probably mentioned at some point, though, where specifically Byleth's from. All I do remember in specific is that, for 100% certainty, is that, Jarrett was, like, sure that Rhea had done something to her as a baby, because she never cried, and that's why he kind of fled the monastery with, Byleth as a baby. But I'm pretty sure there's some conversation on who Byleth's mother was. But, as always, there's a chance I'm just remembering incorrectly. Just seems like one of those types of things that, like, doesn't make a whole lot of sense to leave out. Just do this. Steve loved to say, though, like, the entire purpose of us being here, though, if it is to kind of quell the insurgency, show a bit of solidarity that the kingdom's willing to help, you would think it would also, if the kingdom of Duscur, or whatever Duscur is, I don't know if they're a kingdom, is so divided, surely us coming in here would maybe help out the ones that are already on our side, but the ones that are already against us as the kingdom, I would think it'd make things worse that we're here. But maybe that's just me. Yeah, we may have to level up. For some of the other paralogues, I may have to look into things and make sure that we're leveled up enough on the specific units for them. I mean, our Gatekeeper's only like level, well, I want to say like 30. But if the Gatekeeper's the only unit we get for the Gatekeeper's paralogue, frankly, that's a level 80 level, I might just use Shez and have the Gatekeeper hide somewhere. We might not be able to get an S rank on that stage if we do that, but it's a level 80 paralogue, you know? Like, I've been wondering, you know, it's on the list of things I'd like to look up, but I have genuinely been wondering if the Gatekeeper's like you have to be like 1 or 2 new game pluses in, because we didn't have it last fight, and he doesn't seem like a knight-only exclusive character because he was present in camps and other paths. So that has been my next one, kind of theory, is that maybe it's like past a certain number of new game pluses when he joins. Because the level 80 paralogue as well, like our first path, I think our highest level character was like 60 something, and that was because we'd use Shez permanently. So, just another one of those interesting things that I have to wonder. Jeez, who is Shez fighting? Doing literally anything in this paralogue is a little bit rough right now. And like, we have 2 characters that are exactly at the level for this paralogue and one that's like 2 above, but... Oh, we gotta get over there. Okay. But the dude's right there. Is this... this gate isn't open. I'm assuming we fail the paralogue if we don't rescue all of them. Okay. In that case, let's also make sure to... Oh, maybe we just have to... dang it. I wasn't paying attention to units with rings. Why am I getting juggled? Okay. Let's go. Alright, maybe that was enough and then we can head back to do. We've definitely been messing around a little bit too much, but... Here I was thinking we had to defeat like every single Duscur, General, and Insurgent and stuff. Whereas maybe we do just have to defeat the ones with green circles. Which means that there's one over by Ingrid as well.
Not a problem. I've got it.
Yeah, send him that way. Jeez, come on, go down. Oh, okay, yeah, I'm an idiot. We were supposed to be defeating them.
Why they hate us, but what sense is there in fighting their own people?
Yeah, maybe it's just pride. Okay. So let's send Shez over to defeat this one. It said they're in trouble. Was it the one by me?
Come, let us go.
What do you mean they're in trouble? They both had over half their... Here I was worried about, like, getting things done in time so that they didn't die. Yeah, they're fine. fact, I'm just gonna run Chez over there.
Dusker has all sorts.
The paralogues are always cool because they force you to use other units, but at the same time, when you specialize in using specific units and then you have to use ones that you haven't used at all, it's a little bit rough. You know, it's not the best. Not the best.
I owe you for that. Thank you, my friend from Vargas.
Don't mention it. Now get out of here and find somewhere safe to hide.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm assuming they'll all retreat.
You come for me, huh? Well, bring it on. I'll kill the lot of you.
Where are you? Oh, he was right here. Sick.
This is the one we're after.
Let me check this real quick. Okay.
Remember, we need him alive.
When you say we need him alive, do we still have to... Okay, we still just defeat him. I was gonna say... Yeah, he's fine. Just tossed him around a bit.
No. What are you gonna do to me?
Well, if I had to guess, you're probably gonna go... Yeah, be interrogated and then executed. You know Dimitri isn't exactly afraid to do that because there was the little cutscene with his uncle. So... Yeah. Got a good chunk of money saved up. Then I'll take a look after this recording and try and level up the specific characters we need for paralogues.
And a fine result, seeing as we suffered no needless casualties.
Yeah, I mean, if they literally sent the four of us.
Still, I wonder why our target chose to take part in the tragedy of Dusker in the first place.
Yeah, you never know. Let's see, money, grudge, maybe look deeper. The fact that it has an option that says we need to look deeper makes me think maybe that's what it is. But honestly, I would have initially thought it was probably a grudge, personally.
Grudge against Vargas.
Then we'd best figure out the reason for a said
That would have been my first guess, but who knows?
Whatever the reason, there's no need to speculate.
Agreed. His Majesty will suss it out.
Yeah.
Yes, let's put our faith in him. But for now, we should tell the citizens of Dusker about what transpired today.
That actually doesn't sound like a good time.
I must make a brief stop.
Oh? Where?
A lake deep in the forest.
Oh, okay.
Where a field of flowers once grew.
I wonder if we get to see this.
The area was trampled by the kingdom's army some time back. I want to see if it is recovered.
I could use some flowers in my life right about now.
Yeah.
And who knows, the next time we'll be coming this way again.
That's kind of the nature of war, though.
Mind if I join
Peaceful
you?
things like that could just be run over.
Please.
It's really sad, but...
Count me in too. Felix?
I don't really care about that stuff, but sure. Still, we've got a lot to do, so let's make it quick.
Oh, how lovely.
Oh.
I can't believe a place like this is hidden away in the forest.
I can. It's the
I
forest.
often came here with my sister. I am glad to see it somewhat recovered.
Somewhat? You mean it used to be even more beautiful than this?
Indeed.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
Wow. I'd love to see it in all its glory someday. King Lambert died near this spot, right?
Oh, okay.
I wonder if Glenn ever saw this place.
I think it likely. When things settle in Dusker, this field should also return to form. We should
Almost
come
like
back
metaphorical,
then,
huh?
to see the field as he did.
Yes, we should.
You sure you just want to hang back, Felix? This is
He's
really
standing like
something.
5 feet away from them.
Might be good to, you know, take in the scenery. Maybe think about your brother.
Well, maybe some wounds are left untouched.
Remembering the past is important, but the present gives me all the direction I need.
It's honestly not a terrible mindset, but still.
A duty to protect the same things Glenn did before me.
You mean Dimitri?
More or less. My brother gave everything to protect him.
Okay.
But only because he was protecting the future of Vargas itself. Which that fool will probably try to shoulder all on his own. So I
That's
guess
definitely
they're
something
pretty much
Dimitri
the same
does.
thing at this point. Anyway, keep that to yourself. And don't you dare tell the boar.
Okay.
Come on, why'd you have to say that? Now all I want to do is run around telling everyone.
I'd prefer if you didn't mock me.
Hey man, come on.
You know, I don't really care much for flowers, but this isn't so bad.
Yeah. They obviously didn't show up beyond that little square picture, but that was a nice scene. A little bit sad, but a lot of the stuff that happens in this game is sad. Anyway, that'll do for now. Maybe we'll do one paralogue per chapter. And again, the sport conversations, I'm really leaning towards maybe not doing all of them, because we've done all of them in other paths, and it's taken a long time. If I had like another week or two before Xenoblade 3 release, which to be fair, I was a little bit spotty when I streamed, but I was gonna stream both days this weekend, and then we had that I had that issue with the internet company, so
They march under the flag of the Black
unfortunate,
Eagle,
but
the Emperor's personal force.
interesting.
Need to be wise to our intentions.
Emperor's personal force, but
Should have guessed this wasn't gonna be easy.
is Edelgard still?
We knew the Empire might
I really don't understand yet what the actual like extent is to her brainwashing. Is she still? Did she turn into that monster at will? Is she being completely controlled? They were saying in that other side scene she couldn't speak.
There's something else.
Just terrifying.
About the scouting unit we sent out yesterday.
Were they killed?
We've gotten word they were attacked by
They
a
were
company
attacked,
of
okay.
dark mages.
The same ones Cornelia and Mycen commanded, I presume.
We might have a chance
I
to
believe
rescue
so.
them then.
They seem similar in appearance and capability.
You've got history with these mages, huh?
You sure do.
Say that. And if they fly
Actually, I think to be fair,
Empire colors,
Golden
the
Lavra was the
situation
one that we
will be
dealt with those who
exactly as I
slither in the
feared.
dark the least. And we still did to
This
some
battle
extent,
will
but
surely take its toll on us.
still.
Do not let your guard down, Claude. Sadly, I can offer little more guidance than that. These mages are largely an unknown quantity,
Yeah.
even to me.
Got it.
It really was
Make sure my
Edelgard,
people keep an eye
since
out for them at least.
her situation with Talus that I felt knew the most, and even she didn't know a whole lot
We'll be counting
in
on
that
your
path.
support.
How long has it been since the Kingdom and Alliance fought arm in arm?
Huh.
Probably not since the big
300
split
years.
300 years ago, huh?
I'm proud we can put that history behind us today. With our strengths combined, we will condemn the Empire to a crushing defeat.
Okay.
Another
We'll sure see
chance
what
to
we can
go
do.
toe to toe with those mages, hmm? This could be yet another opportunity to learn about our true nature.
I don't know. Even if we do capture one, it's not like
Yeah,
they're
I was
just gonna
gonna say,
spill all
like-
their secrets to us.
Seems unlikely.
Who knows? Frankly, I wouldn't mind even if we never learn the truth.
Really.
I'll be with you always. You can count on that.
That's like the biggest. We obviously know what happens, but that's like the biggest red flag ever. Don't worry, I'll always be with you. That person's probably dying. If there was ever a red flag in a video game, that's probably it. Persuade the Death Knight. Oh. Interesting. That's gotta be Yuritsa, but still. See, a few slate of arrows. Number. I mean, this was a single battle chapter, so we couldn't have had more than this number of points, but I don't see a reason not to do Persuade. Mounted unit. Special form. I don't care about the special formation. Let's do Mounted Surge. Oh yeah, we've got to reorganize our units again. See, Dimitri Shez. Where is... I mean, we're using Dimitri Shez. We're using Byleth for sure now.
Off to work.
And then... I would like to continue using Catherine. Geralt was actually... Yeah, Geralt was our next strongest unit. We did use Geralt for a while, but Catherine... I really like Catherine, and frankly, we don't have her on Enemy of the Path. So, we'll use these four. And then we might as well change our side units to do our stronger units. So Geralt, Shamir, Mercedes is fine, and then it's probably that should be basically the strongest units. We have 15 minutes, 1800. Time has never been an issue. Neither is damage. Like, it's really just making sure you defeat enough enemies before we hop through. Even on our first path, I didn't feel like time was a huge issue. I think there's literally been one. And I think I've mentioned this multiple times. but I think there's literally been one fight that we lost because, well, we didn't get S rank, sorry, not lost. Because we didn't defeat, I mean, we didn't do it fast enough because we were really messing around that fight. And then we've obviously failed because of chaos a bunch of times. I don't think we've ever failed because of damage. Even in the original Fire Emblem Warriors, I don't think failing because of damage was ever really a huge issue. Oh, dude, Gaia's here. Don't taunt Edelgard.
Yes, right.
Oh, she's super brainwashed. I thought she couldn't talk at all based on that previous scene, but that is horrifying. Because that's not something that's been a factor in any of the other paths. If they're actually capable of doing that, that really, really changes the situation. But
Destroy every enemy that enters your sight.
oh my gosh. I get the distinct feeling we probably don't kill her here, though. I feel like we probably do kill Duke Ire, but I would like to think that we don't kill Edelgard while she's brainwashed. That would be a little bit messed up. Interesting that Viscounts from the Empire here, too. Oh. Oh, I thought we were... Based on that dialogue, I was like, was I not supposed to defeat her? We're good. But I have a feeling maybe we kill Duke Ire, defeat Edelgard, and then they disappear. Here's Ladislava. I feel like she dies every single time. Don't know much about her. I just felt bad for her because of the one time in Golden Wildfire, Ferdinand got himself stuck in the middle of the Alliance territory during the pincer attack, and then Ferdinand ran away like a... maybe not like a coward, but like he kind of did. And then Ladislava stayed behind and died, and I just felt bad for her. Because that was kind of messed up. Beat the Dark Bishop? Okay. Sorry, Ladislava.
Forgive me my weakness.
Yeah, she's definitely dead. Jeez. I'm sorry. I really... Yeah, I was gonna say, that was main mission. The only time that the main mission killing someone has actually not been like something that had to happen was when we didn't fill the requirements to not kill Gerald. So, yeah. Every other time, though, if it's been the main mission and they've died from the main mission, they've had to die. Okay.
What's he doing here?
Yeah. Lots of enemies here.
Can't say I expected him. If we lose the stronghold to our Rhea, we won't be able to isolate him.
Looks like he's in a bit of a mood. We'll have to use a little trickery to get him surrounded. Everyone listen up. Draw the Death Knight into the center of the battlefield.
Okay. Get the Death Knight's attention. I'm going to send one of our main units down to take out this last Death Knight. Or not Death Knight, Dark Mage. And then we will... let's go draw out the Death Knight here.
I'm unstoppable. I can't believe how far you've come.
The last time we had a mission like this, though, I thought we had to actually defeat the Death Knight. Which is, you know, not the case. Yeah, I was gonna say, and then we had to just run away. Oh, hey, it's Holst. So I'm assuming we just walk in front of him and then lead him out. Mr. Death Knight. Hello. Nope. I'll see you later. Okay. Oh, hold up. I'm gonna have Shez just start walking this way. Hopefully he follows. And then let's do this. Because I want to capture the stronghold too, just in case.
It's you, isn't it?
We need to stick to Claw's plan. Drive his attention and lure him in.
They probably just retreat after this, but... Okay, yeah, Shez did go ahead and lure the Death Knight there. That's good.
Drawn him into our trap. Is that really going to bring him down?
There's nowhere for him to run now. Close the gates.
Didn't expect him to fall for such a tactic again. Regardless, now we will weaken the Death Knight with magic. On your command.
I really like the design of Thunderbrand, by the way. We haven't used it because we didn't have Catherine. I don't know if the Renown Chop would have let us get the crest item for it, but... Oh. Oh, we're just bombarding the Death Knight. Death Knight uses that scythe, too. We used that scythe specifically on Gerald for a while because he was the best spear we had for him for a bit, but... In fact, I wonder if Gerald is still using that weapon. I have no idea. What's going on? Is the Knight still here? Are we actually supposed to fight the Death Knight? I didn't think we were supposed to. Never mind. Well, now we're supposed to. Was I supposed to hit the Persuade option before I did this? Okay, well, the Death Knight didn't go down.
Let me go in, Dimitri. I might be able to convince him to surrender.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Oh, it's a good thing we actually brought Mercedes as one of the side units, huh? Death Knight. Okay,
He's
okay.
still standing after that? It's like he's possessed or something.
There we go.
Enough of this, Emil. Please, just stop fighting and come with us.
Yeah, it's exactly what we thought it was. We defeated. We need another 500 enemies. I don't know how many more objectives there are, but... We haven't S-ranked even every fight this playthrough too. I think there was one that we didn't do, one or two that we didn't defeat enough enemies. Oh, Myson's here. Duke Ire and Edelgard are still locked behind that gate, so clearly we have other objectives, but I just don't know how many more.
We must prevail nonetheless. Attack them from the rear.
Interesting. When I think that was a member of those who slither in the dark said that they were like they're saying they're acting like they're surprised that the Death Knight lost. I wonder was I never got the thought that the Death Knight was controlled by them, but still.
I have a personal score to
Interesting.
settle with all of you. It is time for me to take my revenge.
Okay.
Why did you kill my father? What reason did you have for it?
What reason do I need to
Yeah, I was gonna say they just kind of sow chaos. It's like Catherine. Everyone's taking a chunk of damage, but I think it's just because of the lava. Why is Shamir so hurt? Jeez. Have my units just been standing over lava? Let me just pair this up real quick. I didn't know they had specific voice lines for that though.
And the enemy's main force is straight ahead.
Yeah, I get the feeling maybe they're just all running over the lava.
The tide of war is turning against us. Let us flee, Your Majesty. Our most loyal minister will handle.
They're running away. Really. Yeah, I'm so sure, regardless of what happened to Edelgard, that Duke Ire dies. Because it's Duke Ire.
Yes, we leave it to you, Count Burgleys.
Oh. I wonder if Count Berkeley's dies in this path then. Because I'm pretty sure he lived in both of the other two, but...
Tried to hide the act. Still, I have a duty to uphold.
That doesn't mean that he survives this path as well. Oh, and Kaspar's here. We didn't have the opportunity to recruit Kaspar here, so...
Let's show them what we can do.
Who knows? And the way Bergley said too, he could have at least tried to hide the act. Is he aware that they brainwashed the Emperor? Because is that not, you know, literal treason? Just something to keep in mind. Although maybe they're being threatened, now that I think about it. Who knows? Where did Shez go? Shez went a long ways away from that. In that case, we'll go maybe take that over with Dimitri. Handy thing to having our strong units like Lilith back too is this KO count. I was gonna say, yeah, it says we're on 1,000, we're up to 1,600. It's much higher than it actually is because we have units that are actually defeating other things. Whereas in things like the paralogue, where we are using Shez plus a bunch of well, not under-leveled, but at-level units, it's less likely that that's the case. It just saves me some time.
So you're Count Bertley's. I was hoping I would get a crack.
Yeah, that sounds exactly like Host.
People call you the finest warrior in
In fact, they had kind of a fight in Golden Wildfire. Yeah, this is gonna be really close on KOs though. Maybe we didn't defeat enough here, but eh. It's fine. Oh my gosh, never mind. Let's. We need like 70 enemies.
Strong opponents. On guard, everyone. It is essential that we get through here.
How many enemies are in the actual? That's fair. I'm just gonna run in a circle around the outside of this little arena here and defeat all these enemies. That ought to do it, but who knows? Sick. Okay, we're good. Let's listen to his dialogue for a second.
I'd hoped I wouldn't run into you two. For so many reasons.
But to be fair, in this path, we actually recruited her, oh, jeez. But we actually recruited her while she was fighting with the Empire. To be fair, though, I feel like it's not often acknowledged a whole lot which units, you know, join each path when you're fighting against their former allies. But again, in Golden Wildfire, she was recruited as a songstress in Alliance territory. Once the borders between the Alliance/Federation and the Empire opened up. So, just interesting. And then obviously on Scarlet Blight, she was already with us. Okay. It does look like Count Bertley's doesn't die. That's nice. In fact, the only one who died here was a lot of Slava again. It's kind of messed up. Ooh, cutscene.
Well, you can definitely handle yourself in a fight, Mr. Warrior King.
I think so.
Good to see your humor is intact. Never mind the gravity of the moment.
Figured I'd skip the doom and gloom. I've got a plan up my sleeve I think you'll like.
I'm listening.
You head out after Edelgard, and I stay back here. Way I figure, I can keep
Okay,
the Empire off of you.
But Claude,
You'd rather she got away?
of course not. Good luck to
We'll
you.
probably be fine. After all, Kaspar retreated, Count Ire did, Ladislav is dead, Edelgard retreated with Count Ire, Kaspar's gone. The majority of the main force should be not here anymore. Sort of morale time. And the scythe. The scythe is the one of the weapons we used before, though. I really haven't used a lot of the crest weapons. I know the Renown Shop allows you to get the items that you can equip to allow you to use them. I just haven't worried about it. Yeah, it was your read, so that's fine. Okay. So off towards Garreg Mach.
Azure Gleam. The
Absent
absent
Emperor.
Emperor.
Interesting.
The combined might of the Kingdom, Alliance, and Church crush Adrestia's forces in the Valley of Torment, forcing the Emperor and Regent Ire to flee southward to Garreg Mach. The might of Fargus relentlessly pursues them in hopes of finally putting an end to the war. However, Count Bertley stands firm in the way, a stalwart defender of his Emperor.
Are we gonna have an extra chapter then in between now? Is Garreg Mach gonna be the final chapter?
You've come. Why did you bring Her Majesty out here? You said yourself she's not in good shape. It's what the situation demanded. We needed the Emperor's might to drive the Allied army away. Did we now? Besides, the decision was not mine to make.
but now is not the time for
Not
this
his to
idle
make, huh?
chatter. I must be going. It is essential I escort the Emperor to Garreg Mach. You shall stay behind to impede the enemy's advance. We cannot let any harm come to Her Majesty.
Somehow I doubt it's her safety you're worried about. But fine. I've got my orders. You can go.
My deepest
Interesting.
thanks. This way, Your Majesty.
Adresti is not gonna last much longer if that's how our Emperor's looking.
I mean, something's
That's what you
clearly
think,
wrong.
then
Yeah.
flee. You're just a general. No noble rank to defend, nor a claim to one otherwise.
Ooh. To be fair, Kaspar is not
Another
the heir
life
to
is
his
out
house.
there
But
for
yeah.
you, should you want it.
You're telling me to abandon the Empire?
Interesting. That makes me wonder if we have Persuade Kaspar in our next chapter.
Though I think Linhardt might be in the kingdom.
He is,
Definitely one way to go.
isn't he?
But it's not.
You're far too young to be throwing your life away. I wouldn't begrudge you such a decision.
Oh, come on. I'll land the decisive blow that'll turn this whole
It's
thing
actually
around.
kind of a nice conversation. It was a little bit harsh at first, being like, yeah, but you don't have any, you know, any right to a title or anything like that, which he doesn't, but still. Just kind of saying,
Some panic and jump overboard. Others resign themselves to their
I'd rather you
fates
live, I
and
guess,
let
than
the tempest do what it will.
stay here and die.
Yet more rob their fellow sailors for meaningless plunder, while another group clings to the helm, searching desperately to reverse their fortunes.
Interesting.
And us? We stand proud at the bow, serenading our crew as the waves lap at their feet.
Okay.
Our voices are like thunder piercing through the chaos, stirring the hearts of all those who stand face to face with death.
I get it. I'm gonna scream my lungs out until I can't draw another breath. Things might
Maybe
be
he
bleak
doesn't
now,
join us?
but they're gonna learn just what the Empire is all about.
I'm trying to remember if we got Kaspar and Golden Wildfire. So that was a couple weeks ago now. I don't. Did we? One thing I have been disappointed though with Azure Gleam is we literally, I don't even think, have talked to Lysithea in this path.
With the Emperor in tow. They appear to be headed for Garreg Mach.
Yeah, makes sense.
And just as planned, the Archbishop and her squadron are en route there as well. But we have also received word of suspicious behavior from the fugitive Duke Ire.
What do you mean fugitive?
Meaning what?
Thought he was the current, like, regent of the Empire.
Rather than retreat to the monastery, he remains roaming in
What?
the vicinity of this very battlefield. Maybe he's looking for something? Or perhaps it is a trap or a diversion of some kind. We still do not know. what
Maybe
our
he's
enemy is
trying to
planning.
take advantage of Edelgard's situation and offer.
We do know that Count Burgles has stationed units at various key points in the hopes
It
of
does
slowing
sound like
us down.
something he'd do after the Scarlet Blaze path.
Well, now what? Duke Ire might not be rushing to reach Garreg Mach, but we should be. We don't want to lose our advantage.
Of course not. But if we charge in too hastily, we'll be swarmed by Burgles and his soldiers.
Maybe we could try and find a weak spot in their defenses and break through there.
That would all be fine and well on regular terrain. We don't really have the luxury of choosing our route here in the
Yeah, we're kind of in a one-way fight now.
What about the shortcut Lady Rhea used?
Unless we do that.
We would have to break into smaller units to get our whole army through,
Huh.
but it might just work.
It is too dangerous. Splitting up would just make us easier targets for whatever traps the enemies laid.
I fear I must agree. Such a plan could play straight into the Empire's hands. Attempting to traverse that route without the proper preparations would only result in needless loss.
Okay.
Looks like you need my guidance. Hear me out. With an army as big as ours, there's no point trying to get clever with it. Our only real concern is the possibility of getting surrounded. Therefore, what I propose is...
We'll push our way through, strike everywhere all at once. Whatever traps Duke Ire's got
I
for
really
us,
thought
we'll blow
Arvel was
straight
about to tell
through
us
them.
some kind of, like, interesting strategy.
This isn't a thinking person's fight. Not
Yeah, I
now.
was like, this really isn't a
We have
strategy.
stronger army, so let's start acting like it.
I didn't realize we had two boars on our side. Though I can't say I disagree.
We have the numbers. It is a good plan.
I hold no objections. Our combined might would overwhelm even the greatest ambush.
Okay.
Now, The Empire will learn what the legions of Fargus are capable of.
Okay, well, let's get into it then. Alrighty. We're definitely closing in on some interesting plot points, though. Battle suggestions.
What about this?
See experience gained using combat arts and magic.
What do you think of this? I've had a thought.
Let's do just experience. Why not?
No.
Probably won't hurt. Alright, let's get through this.
Supplies are the lifeblood of any army.
I basically just call it like housekeeping, but it's pretty much just, yeah, the in-between stuff between when we can just rush the end of chapter.
Training can be the difference between victory and
Yeah, before I forget, I am gonna swap out. I think Yuritsa, yeah, Yuritsa Master class. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put in Geralt, and just throw Geralt in with someone that I don't know I'm interested in seeing support level with. I'm actually curious to see what he would say to Catherine as knights. Who else would be interesting? To be fair, there's a chance he doesn't even have support conversations with a lot of these units, and it is just like a regular rank, but let's try Dimitri, just because maybe. Yeah, basically everyone's mastered the class. At this point, training points is largely for just those last few characters, and I mean, it's free support level points. But I don't even think half the units that are in here. Oh, that was fast, okay.
Time to work you into shape.
Since we have the gold too, I'm primarily concerned about the gatekeeper. How far can we go? 60? That's good for now. Strongest gatekeeper in the West.
Can't wait to see how you do.
So we're gonna have to slowly level the gatekeeper over the next couple chapters, just so that he's not completely useless, I think, during the final fight. Not final fight, sorry, paralogue fight. Especially if it's just a 2-unit paralogue.
Wait.
I'm really surprised that Yuritsa did end up joining us this path, though. Really did not think that was going to be a thing.
Come back whenever you're hungry.
Care to make yourself useful?
Alright, as always, let's put a little bit of thought in this. We're maxed out with Geralt, but Geralt could be 4.
We all must do our fair share to make yourself useful.
Let's see. Flame and sure.
We all must do our share to make yourself useful.
It's volunteering. Use. Try this. I don't know how many of the like how many chapters in a row I need to do this between 2 characters. Because like there, it seemed like we were a little bit over halfway, maybe 3/4 of the way to C rank for those 2. And then doing one with the double arrows there gave them their C rank. Just one of those interesting things. Do they not have higher than B rank between those 2?
We all must do our share to make yourself
Yeah,
useful.
these volunteer points give us so much renown too that like I maybe shouldn't have skipped it back on the other path when we did. Just might give them A rank. We have so many gifts. We have so many gifts though that if I ever wanted to just max out Shez's support conversations with literally everyone, I could. It just doesn't seem like it matters a whole lot. I wish there was a way to give them gifts from like one character to another. Because unlike in Three Houses where you really wanted to raise affinity so that you could recruit everyone, it really isn't that hard to get support points between anyone and Shez. So, a little bit unfortunate, but just how it goes sometimes, I think. Alright.
We all must do our fair share.
You know what? I'm not feeling sport conversations right now, so what I think I might do is let's clear the stages of the chapter and do a paralogue. $18 Vanguard whistles left. We might need to pick up a few more before the end of the route.
I speak the truth. I would swear my life on it. Duke Ire has become that horrible man's puppet, dancing in the palm of his hand.
Well, based on that quick little voice line where he was saying it's not my decision, seems to be the case.
To pacify the masses. Talus and his ilk are the ones who truly hold the reins of this empire.
I mean, we could have guessed based on the fact that Talus was clearly the one that did whatever it was to Edelgard, but still.
Yes, and what's more, though you may find it difficult to accept, Talus and the former Lord Arundel are one and the same. I overheard as much cross his own lips.
That's another thing that we know from Scarlet Blaze, but that obviously we wouldn't if this was the first path. And that's why I think for some people, including myself, it gets a little repetitive, but you have to consider,
I cannot explain what has
you know, the implications of this being someone's first path.
She does as Duke Ire bids her, and nothing more. Though, of course, Talus is the one whispering those orders to him from the shadows. She follows his every word, issuing his orders in her name. Now, surely I have shared secrets enough to earn my salvation?
Assuming we, you know, believe her, but yeah.
You may await your verdict from the inside of your cell.
What? No, wait, there's more! Please, I beg of you!
How much of Fenia's prattling do you believe?
Certainly not all of it. But a great deal of what she said rings true. Lord Arundel's contributions to the church must have ceased because he was no longer Lord Arundel.
Yeah.
But Talus instead. It's almost identical to how the librarian Tomas was replaced by that dark mage.
Solon.
At the time the donations stopped, Lord Arundel...
And one thing I haven't really considered too was like the whole, like, we talked about like, what if they changed, or what if they're really there, planted for years and years. There's also the chance that maybe those ones that transform, maybe they were just like assassinated by those who were in the dark, and then they just shapeshifted into him. So the real, you know, real Tomas, the real Lord Arundel, have been dead for a long time. Maybe that's it. I don't know. I'm sure there's probably an official, actual answer to that question somewhere, but
his activities. What I can say is everything would be different if not for those mages.
Yeah, those who live in the dark have definitely changed everything.
Citizens of Dusker, none would have met the fate that befell them. No doubt they had a reason for what they did. A sense of justice that rationalized their savagery, even if to no one but themselves. But we have the right to seek our own justice for those actions in the way we see fit.
Yeah.
By the sword.
We will prevail, Your Majesty, and we will finally avenge the dead.
Once Talus is gone, we will finally be able to put all this behind us and look toward a new future.
Indeed. We will have no satisfaction while these demons still draw breath.
Yeah. This really does make me think that maybe we just free Edelgard, all three lords live again, and then the final boss is Talus in this path. Which again aligns with what I was saying during my last stream / VOD, is I was thinking, okay, final boss of Golden Wildfire was Rhea. Final boss of Scarlet Blaze was Rhea plus Talus. Maybe the final boss of Azure Gleam is just a member of those who still live in the dark, which is probably going to be Talus. Just an interesting thought. Kind of mirrors, you know, one, both, one, you know. And again, maybe I'm just terribly wrong, but see. Otherwise, we'll just Vanguard with our way there. If we need more strategy resources, we can always go back and Vanguard with some more.
What about this?
But who knows? Burgundy territory. Okay. Axe or Bow of Zoltan? I don't really think I need either one particularly. Let's grab the Bow of Zoltan though.
Greetings.
There's not a whole lot of Zoltan weapons are don't know. Zoltan weapons are very, very helpful for sure. But I don't know how many, like, I think the only weapon I've used less than axes is probably just straight up fist weapons because I don't think I've really used any. Where's their dex, huh? Honestly, I still have a bunch of items right now for raising permanent stats. I've just been buffing up Shez a fair amount at this point just because we'll always have Shez. Why not just make Shez crazy strong? As for which paralogue we want to do here. 38, 38, 33. Probably the level 33 one then. Looks like it is Setter than Flame. It's interesting. So Rhea relates a tale describing a sacred artifact said to have been locked away centuries ago. Hearing this, the most loyal members of the church make ready to retrieve it. Okay, so we're looking for a sacred artifact for the Church of Seiros. That is interesting.
If this story is to be believed, then perhaps a holy artifact yet remains hidden in that land.
The same holy artifact the first Emperor
Okay. Yeah, that could be really important to have.
To unite Fodlan. If we could retrieve it, it would go a long way toward preventing an Imperial invasion.
Unfortunately, the area is
No,
currently a
prevention
den of
is
rather
really
villainous scum.
the
And as the Knights of Seiros
the
cannot
concern here so
spare
much is just
personnel,
stopping them
our
now that they
options for
have, but
procuring
sure.
the artifact are unfortunately rather limited. I certainly cannot do it alone.
Oh yeah, we'll send Flame with you. Great plan.
You will not, Flame. I shall not take you anywhere so dangerous.
That ship is long since sailed. I have already been a part of more battles than I can count.
Perhaps, but still.
I will become
Can't blame Seta for being overprotective of one of the last people he really has now that so much has happened, but still.
You surely jest.
Oh, okay, is Rhea coming? So I can play Rhea, Arvel, and Sothis in the Records Hall battles, but I don't think you get to play them as like in like any of the main story or paralogues. I didn't think, and Rhea wasn't listed on the names we had here.
Oh, and you need not worry. While it has been a time since I last set foot on a battlefield, I can surely hold my own against a lowly pack of brigands.
Worst comes to worst, Rhea just transforms into a dragon, murders everyone, but yeah.
My concern. I know your true strength better than any. My worry is that our destination lies deep within enemy territory. If something unforeseen were to occur, and the church to lose its archbishop...
See, this is basically the concern, though, that every Fire Emblem game ever has with their main lord, that they always just don't think about. It's the same thing in Awakening. What if a stray arrow were to take out Crom?
You speak of the church's downfall as a
You know?
hypothetical, yet it is already upon us. As such, it is my duty to set things to rights.
Oh, okay.
Is now a good time, Lady Rhea?
Of course, Cyril. Please.
Is Cyril
come
even
in.
playable in this game?
Oh, you.
What are you doing here?
You don't gotta be so rude.
Yeah, I had a feeling you wouldn't like this. Cyril insisted I come, so here I am. You're headed for a den of thieves, right? This kind of stuff is my bread and butter. You should let me help.
She's also twice your level.
Weird being your sole bodyguard on
So,
such a dangerous mission, Lady
who's that?
Rhea. So I thought another sword might come in handy. I'm real sorry if I overstepped.
Hey, if you feel like you can't trust me on this one, I'm happy to go find a cozy bed and
That's
nap
something
the
I
rest
would
of
say,
the
hey
day
man,
away.
if you don't trust us, I'm just gonna...
What do you say?
I'll go take a nap, like...
King Dmitri has spoken quite highly of you. I also hear you lead your own private force and are well respected within the kingdom's army. If you are prepared to assist us, I will take it.
Makes you wonder though, like... Again, these paralogues are a little bit like...
And yet,
Oh, they rely on everyone else being busy, like, oh, no one else can come help, but still.
Oh, and you will be handsomely compensated for your time, of course.
All right,
Yep.
but don't feel like you've got to shower me with rare jewels or anything.
No reason
I
to
know
refuse.
times are tough for the church right now. Besides, it sounds like a pretty simple job to me.
in that case, you have our thanks.
Afraid I can't be away for long, though, or my actual employers are gonna get annoyed.
Our destination is a nearby mountain hamlet. It was once a holy site for the church, and apparently has some connection to Saint Indek. Sadly, its history has long since been
That's interesting. It's one of those types of things that makes you wonder, like,
liberate
I
it
get that
from
they're
its
the
new
leaders
and
of the Church of
villainous
Seiros, but still,
Lady Rhea, let us
did
be off with
literally
all
no
speed.
one else know of it after all this time?
Easy, Flame. I will go on ahead. and
Aside from
start
the thieves,
end.
of course.
You can come later with the others. Ah, and I would like you to come with me.
Okay.
Glad to.
Cyril, I trust you to keep Flame and the Archbishop safe. Is that understood?
Yeah, of course.
Seth certainly seems worried about you, Flame.
Oh, this is how he always is.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. Question is, do we immediately... Yeah, I was gonna say, do we immediately have them available to us, or... Wait. We immediately have Flame, but not Seteth? Huh. That's not what I thought was going to be the case. I thought we were going off 1,200 enemies, 1,200 enemies. By 12 minutes? I thought we were going to be immediately going off with Seteth, and then Flame, and maybe the others would be joining us later. Oh.
Sorry for not stopping it, but I promise we'll save him, alright?
How was he captured?
The bandits are blocking all
He's
of
up
the
there.
paths. But which one even leads to my brother?
I'd vote we take them all out. We'll find the one that leads to Senate eventually.
This is going to be like a whack-a-mole... Yeah, as they hit a certain number of forts until we find them, or...
completely loses his composure.
Yes, it truly is rather embarrassing.
Yeah, fair enough.
Appreciate the help, but I was
I wonder if we actually, aside from the battalions and regular fight rewards, do we actually get a new relic?
I don't know you churchy types very well, and this seems
Churchy
like a good
types.
chance to fix that.
Okay. Fair enough.
Sad that this land should be forsaken.
And I mentioned this before too, but we've obviously been on like a map like this before, if not this exact map. But I actually think Three Hopes does a relatively good job of making some of these maps feel very unique. Because like the history mode in the original Fire Emblem Warriors, genuinely I do not think did. The history mode also very quickly just became do like 30 battles and then you'll get a short cutscene reminding you of like events that happened in some of the older games, which was neat, but this one actually like gives you so much story and stuff that it gets a little bit tiring to listen to all the story sometimes, but I don't know, I just feel like they make it so that some of these maps do feel genuinely like a little bit different.
Now we can move forward again. Hold fast, Seteth. We are coming for you.
Is Seteth actually just in this fort right here? I fear for us if something should happen to Flame, not Seteth. Honestly.
My apologies.
Okay, he was just here. I saw the green X, but I just wasn't sure if it was literally going to be Seteth or if that was like a goal. Probably should have known. Question is, do we need to be on this side or that right path?
And locate the holy artifact.
Okay, it looks like it doesn't actually matter.
And perhaps we will get some information out from the process.
Lady Rhea is so powerful. Does she even need me protecting her?
Yeah, it's fair. It's almost like she can turn into a giant dragon. I mean, they never directly refer to as a Manakete in Three Houses, I don't think, but it's pretty much a Manakete, no? I think Rhea is kind of like the idea, though, of like, what if Tiki was situationally an ally? She is now like technically on like the church route, but was also sometimes an enemy, which is a horrifying thought.
A sacred item has been hidden in this land. Do you know aught about it?
I don't know nothing about nobody.
I mean, like, even if he knew what they were talking about, why would the thief,
Have you seen any ancient items?
you know it was something special? Because a lot of these are, well, to be fair, a lot of them are like big red shiny weapons, but still, you know. There's a chance that they've seen it and didn't know. But that was immediately disproved right there. Assuming it's the top right part of the map, though. I'm looking on enemies. 200 off.
Must hurry and see what we can find.
Seteth or I should be able to spot it.
Again, if this was such a great holy artifact this entire time, you would really think that they'd have come for it earlier, you know? Or someone would have. But I suppose that's also kind of the point of the paralogues. Stuff that's not necessarily vital to the story, but they gotta make it sound important.
Indek once had a workshop in this mountain hamlet, though there is no sign of it anymore.
So much time has passed that all has withered and faded. I can only hope the shield itself yet remains intact.
Does Rhea have to be the one that searches these, or can I sit here? Wait, did we really just find it first? Really? That's kind of funny.
This is indeed the shield crafted by Indek.
It's a shield, okay.
And later passed to great Emperor Wilhelm himself.
I was actually guessing that it was up here, in the furthest tucked away spot.
St. Keyhole? Amazing.
Keyhole.
Oi, hold on! You lot can't just waltz in here and take my shield.
I thought you couldn't use these,
You know nothing of its true
I thought you couldn't use them without a crest.
I shall rid you of that impulse.
Ah. I didn't think of it. I don't think we defeated enough enemies. Oops. Ah well. Just a battalion we would have missed out on.
With the goddess.
Fine work, everyone. Let us head back.
I just completely autopilot ran it in there and used my skills, but oh no, we're good. By 18 enemies, huh? Yeah, the Chesleyan monks? Okay. Battalion boss 4, huh? Interesting.
We successfully drove out the bandits and recovered the holy artifact.
Do we actually get to use the shield if we want
I
it?
must thank you all for your help. Truly, the goddess has blessed us this day.
So that shield is the artifact?
It is actually one of the sacred weapons.
That is actually... I think that's supposed to be like a lion head or something, but that is... Huh.
Oh, right. I remember hearing how Saint Indek made him a long time ago.
I see someone has been
Wonder what would have happened if we'd set the wrong saint.
Many people mistakenly believe the sacred weapons were forged by Saint Macule. In truth, most were forged by Indek, then imbued with power by Macule.
Okay, that's interesting.
It is said that this one, the Okine Shield, was created by Indek for Saint Keyhole.
They were such good friends. Or so I once read.
Indeed. But Seros decided to gift the shield to the first emperor of Adrestia.
That's kind of messed up.
Do you know who
I made this specifically for my best friend.
It was...
By the way, this is going straight to the emperor.
Let's see if Cyril knows.
It was... Vil...
Was it Wilhelm?
Right?
Wilhelm Paul
It was
Breslau,
Wilhelm, okay.
the only person to hold the title of Great Emperor in the history of
Okay.
Adrestia. At first, he merely ruled over Anbar, but then Seros imparted the revelation of the goddess upon him. In the blink of an eye, he forged an empire and raised an army to unite the war-torn land of Fodlan. His battle raged for decades. Much blood was shed.
Seros and the Four Saints fought beside the Empire at this time, which is why the struggle is now known as the War of Heroes.
Huh.
Don't use my ignorance to feel bad about yourself.
Finally,
Did you know that?
the leader
Don't
of
act
the
like that
opposing
makes you feel
forces,
better that I didn't know
was
that I did.
defeated at the Battle of Tailtean. Having achieved his chief ambition, great Emperor Wilhelm ceded the throne to his son, Lycaon. Wilhelm continued to assist Lycaon in battle, but Lycaon perished at a young age, and Wilhelm soon retreated into the background.
Okay.
He relinquished this shield to Seros, and together they returned it to Indek's workshop.
Man, I was
Then
just
it
sitting
lay
there the entire
forgotten
time.
for over 1,000 years.
Oh.
1,000 years? It doesn't look anywhere near that old.
That is because Uncle Indek was so skilled. In fact, he was the finest blacksmith who ever lived.
Uncle?
I mean Saint Indek. They call him Uncle in some fables, so I misspoke.
I miss
Alas, in the present day, the Adrestian Emperor is attempting to eradicate the Church of Seros. They forget their very origins. It is nothing short of pure blasphemy. Here, the shield is yours. We also recovered other useful items from the bandits, and they are yours as well.
But you were going to use it to whatever.
Really?
The Archbishop wishes it.
Just as great Emperor Wilhelm once used this.
Yeah, so maybe in this path she actually recognizes us as some kind of hero, despite being a mercenary.
I pray you.
But does that mean you don't need it,
the wayward
like a crest, to use this particular shield, or is it literally just like a... Why would I refuse it? It's a crazy powerful shield.
I'll give it to Dimitri and tell him to use it as he sees fit.
Yeah, we use 2 swords.
Excellent.
Not exactly something we'd be using anyways, but still.
Index superhuman talent and Wilhelm's fierce will. Seros's wishes for Fodlan and the blessing of the goddess herself.
Okay.
All these things dwell within the shield. I am certain it will lead the way to victory for you, as well as all adherents of the Seros faith.
Yeah, maybe.
I'll take your words to heart, too. And make sure to pass them on to Dimitri.
I love how Shez keeps re-emphasizing that. Thank you. I don't care, but I'll let Dimitri know, you know, that's probably who you should be saying this to. But, thanks. It's kind of funny. We should have, like, another 5 paralogues, I think, yeah. Interesting. I'm still just like, jeez. It's 46, 44, 38, 38. Okay. As far as character levels goes, so Sylvain and Rodrigo need to be leveled. Ash is higher than that level, Yuri's higher than that level. This one we should be fine on, actually, I think, in terms of levels. This one we need Rodrigo and Sylvain leveled. This one, for 44, I think Constance is around, like, level 40 because of Ashmo's Reunion. Annette is not leveled. Mercedes, I want to say, is 42. Everyone's leveled for this one. And then there's, of course, this one. But let's hop back into the story here. Oh, it's because we got one training point back for it. It's fine. Like I was saying, I could min-max, go back to the camp every time we get points like that, but trying to finish out this game. Potentially, if this is the end of Chapter 14, we maybe could finish it between this session. I want to go for another hour at least, and then, the next session, but we will see. Yeah, we'll see. If my internet is actually fixed tonight,
Majesty, where have you gone?
we'll stream next time, but if not, I might just
It was a foolish idea to bring
figure
her
this.
to
I don't know.
battle, given her condition.
But Edelgard disappeared, huh?
Duke Ire, my lord, the enemy is advancing from the rear
Interesting.
and picking off our units one after the other. It's only a matter of time until they're at
Yeah.
our throats.
Why didn't he go
You
to
must
the
flee.
kingdom? Was it to the Garreg Mach? Was it because he lost?
A military minister think he's doing
Was it because he lost track of Edelgard?
stop them.
Or was he actually just hanging around?
If we fail to find the Emperor soon...
Oh, you're dead if you don't
All
find the
searches
Empire,
have
yeah.
turned up nothing so far. It's possible she has been taken by the enemy. But
We don't
please,
have her picture.
You must save yourself at least. We will remain here and continue to seek out Her Majesty.
Yes, I suppose staying here myself would only accomplish my being lost as well. In that case, I shall withdraw to the monastery. My
Jeez.
apologies, but I leave the search to you.
Understood.
Farewell, and thank you.
I mean, is Talos in the Empire during all this, or is he meeting him at Garreg Mach? Because if he shows up without
Perhaps the most
Edelgard,
fearsome
he's
general in all of Fodlan.
in trouble.
Let's finish this quick, okay?
Hmm.
The sooner we win the war, the sooner we can all go home and have a nice big victory feast.
You're right. Everyone has to make it back safe, so we can throw the biggest party Fargus has ever seen.
Yeah, let's go with that.
It's time to move, everyone. I know you won't let the kingdom down.
Defeat Duke Ire. Oh, okay, we are just probably... Okay, interesting. So we're missing one strategy from the rest of the map, but we don't persuade anyone here. I thought with what Count Bergley's had said to Kaspar, maybe we were recruiting him, maybe we weren't, but at the same time we're also very clearly not confronting them here. So why not? We can just grab these three. Units. Oh my gosh, it always changes. I keep forgetting about that. It's annoying. I don't know if it's because we did a paralogue. It's probably because we did a paralogue, but still. Because it obviously changed our active units to the ones from the paralogue, but...
I'll crush them all.
Dimitri, Catherine, Cesaria. Let's throw a Gatekeeper in there now that the Gatekeeper's leveled. Throw Geralt in. Then... I mean, at this point, we might as well throw in the people we know we're going to need to level a bit for the paralogues. It was it I think it was Constance for one of them.
Anyone else would be more useful.
I think it was like Constance and Yuri. It was either Constance and Yuri or Happy and Yuri, I thought. And then Ash is 42. Mercedes needs to be 2 levels higher too. Might as well. Throw in a couple units for those paralogues. I'll probably do some grinding off recording / stream, but it doesn't hurt. I didn't check how many 15 enemies. Okay.
I must escape, even if it's alone. Quickly, to Garrett Mock.
I mean, I'm just gonna... Is he really right here? He's right here. I'm just gonna just beat him up. I didn't think he'd be right here. Interesting. Maybe he retreats temper. I can't imagine you can literally just kill Dukai right now. Okay.
We're truly done for now. Is there no one who can help us?
He didn't die immediately. Oh. Interesting.
Shame I missed the pitched battle. I'm not so fond of fighting at a disadvantage.
Interesting.
They'll have troops waiting for us in the caves. I'm sure of it. Let's keep our wits about us.
So Kaspar was here. Yeah, I was gonna say, so the thing is, the Persuaded unit was never, I think, an unlockable thing. I'm pretty sure if it's possible to persuade one, they're always available. You just might not have the strategy resources if you didn't full clear the map. But if Gaspar dies here, maybe we back out and try to find that other strategy. Oh.
Edelgard, I'm sorry. I did.
Alright, one sec. Oh, crud. I'm gonna go find the last... There's a chance we can't recruit Gaspar, because, let's be honest, we killed like half the Blue Lions. But let me see, where's this last strategy we're missing? Because there's a chance, is it this? There's a chance that we can recruit him. I don't know though, because like Ingrid and I think Annette also died on Scarlet Blaze. But... was this not the strategy? This was not the strategy.
Indeed.
I just... I thought it was one of the Starlings. That's gold, that's it. Let's try this. Might be wasting Vanguard whistles here, but... I just have a hard time imagining that... What? Is it this one? What's this? It's this one, okay. We're gonna be doing this then. Shouldn't take more than like an extra 10 minutes. I just want to make sure. We've done this for multiple other characters, including like Catherine on Golden Wildfire and such. If there's a chance to recruit someone and not kill them, I'd like to make sure, you know?
Let's move.
But only female units, 500 enemies, 7 minutes, okay. But if that last strategy is not literally Persuade Gaspar, which I genuinely don't think it will be, Gaspar's dead.
I could do with some reinforcements.
Escort the Grim Reapers. Well, looks like my other units are kind of staying in that general area, so... Interesting. I don't know if capturing this fort up here is going to matter at all, but until I get like a notification that there's ambushers on the Granary, which is probably going to happen, I'm just going to do my own thing. So they're passing through. Yeah, there it is. Okay.
Take a breather.
I feel like that's pretty much always the case. Oh, I think I just missed all. Dang it. Okay. Oh, we didn't have to capture the stronghold apparently. That's interesting.
We're done for. The rest is up to you.
Visor. Okay. Where did... Oh. Yeah, I'll go run and defeat the advisor real quick.
Don't mind if I do. Here it comes.
Nice.
I'm dragging the others down.
Is the... Yeah, it looks like the Granary is being attacked again.
Now what do we do?
Yeah, these escort missions really do, I feel, just like to swarm the unit.
We cannot allow the battle to
Central
continue
home? Yep.
trending this way.
Sometimes these stages actually don't even have an enemy commander to defeat, but we'll see.
By my command, march! The stronghold's ours!
I should be able to...
Right on.
Did they? Not even in the fort. Interesting. Yeah, there's an enemy commander. Oh, they appeared right here. Wasn't expecting that, actually. Take him out. Nice.
Stellar defense, everyone.
An A-level pomegranate, huh? Alright.
Indeed. Correct.
Light the beacon. Yep. It was not Persuade. Was not Persuade Kaspar. So he might be doomed to die in this path. I guess to be fair, did we not go back and try and save Ingrid? I don't know if we did there, but that was probably because it was close to the end of the fight. Who knows though. Oh well, doing that allowed us to get every single strategy here. And then we should only have to change... Ugh, okay. Change this back to... I think this was Dimitri? Is Dimitri not here? He's here. And then we had Mercedes in here. Might be like one or two separate units. Oh, we had Gatekeeper in there too. It's fine. But yeah, that really does make me think that Kaspar probably dies. And I think this is 1,500 enemies. Yeah. Poor Kaspar. But I don't know. It was worth a try just to see. I felt really bad when we just straight up murdered Ingrid as well, and all of the other actual members of the houses that we killed. But very clearly does not appear to be an optional thing. I guess we're gonna turn around real quick.
Simply giving chase will not close the distance.
Oh, you guys actually just running this time. Last time we straight up fought in the fort too, I think.
It's a shame I missed the pitched battle. I'm not so fond of fighting at a disadvantage.
Maybe we were supposed to defeat Dukar that fast. I don't know. Because last time there were some reinforcements that appeared like directly behind us in that port. Like the beacon. Oh my gosh. I always do that. I'm just gonna chase Dukire here, I think.
What was that meant to signal?
Maybe it's because we had that specific strategy. Oh, wait, maybe it is if I have that strategy because Caspar didn't appear.
The future of the Empire depends on it.
Interesting.
We're truly done for now. Is there no one?
Maybe I wasn't supposed to take out Dukire, I don't know.
They won't get through me.
I'm really not sure. Yeah, defeat Caspar and pursue.
We'll have to take Caspar out if we want to keep moving.
Dukire cannot be allowed to escape. We must defeat Caspar with utmost
The events
haste.
happened in a slightly different order there. But I just don't know. Because last time, like I was saying, maybe it's because we defeated Dukire so fast. Maybe it's because of the beacons thing, because he had a voice line for that, but without knowing for certain. I'm gonna run around and try to do some other stuff just in case, but I'm really thinking we have to go to this bar here. Because it was the main mission, same as the other times, and I don't know, I could look it up and maybe see, but it's fine.
My turn?
Yeah. Alright, sorry Gaspar. I went out of my way for like 10-20 minutes to see if I could rescue you, but does not seem to be the case.
It doesn't matter how bad I get hurt, just as long as I can stay on my feet.
I'm sorry. Oh, I feel bad. Something about killing like the actual like main Three Houses members really makes me feel bad. Like I said, it was the main mission. The other strategy, again, it made things happen in a slightly different order. But that doesn't mean that... Interesting. Closest Byleth is closest to Dukire right now. Interesting. Dukire, get back here. Right now. If you think we're letting you escape after Caspar just died, you got another thing coming. Where's Edelgard and all this too, by the way? Like, genuinely, what happened to her?
Someone relieve me so I can rest.
Let me show you the
Oh
prowess
my gosh, she's always the characters that you, like... I swear. It's always the characters that you just want to keel over, genuinely. That sit there and get like 10 tries. And then the characters that you're like, man, I hope they survive. You like, fight them once and they kick the bucket.
We will just have to take him down.
We have to take him out now. If we aren't quick about it, Dukire's going to get away.
So many missions right now, though. Beat Dukire's right there. Seize the mountain trailhead, which we can't do right now. Seize the stronghold. Okay. Let's send someone to deal with the blister right there. I mean, Shamir's right. I mean, Ash is right there. We'll send.
Time to go to work.
That's me.
Needs help. I'll leave this to you.
On every temporary retreating. Oh, did he just show up here? Oh. This might be a situation where we can't take Berkeley's out until Hebring's down. It looks like Hebring just killed Berkeley's.
This will be fun. I suppose good manners dictate that we repay them in kind and charge them head on.
Okay. Let's see. Captain's in that port. Let's take him out.
Things are not unfolding quite in our favor. I had best retreat.
Catherine's skill is actually really nice. I've been meaning to try it now that I have had the ability to use it, because we can use Lysithia's, Shamir's, and Catherine's.
The Empire cannot afford your death.
Oh.
My apologies, but I'm warping you out of here.
You warped him out there, but you didn't warp Kispar out? Really? This game's sometimes, man. Again, that makes me wonder if maybe we could have saved Kispar, but without looking it up and redoing the battle another time, I'm just gonna go.
Lives to fight another day. Regardless, our pathway is now clear. Let us hurry after Duke Ire.
Hurry! Faster! Keep running!
Where is Dukai? He's like, we've beaten him twice. Alright, Dukai, like, stop. Where is he?
No mercy.
Can I do it?
Ancestors,
I don't feel bad about this one, though, honestly.
And your majesty, our empire is doomed.
I mean... Oh, that ended it? Okay. I guess that was the goal of this entire mission, but like, I just didn't
Managed to defeat Duke Ire.
be that fast, though.
Edelgard is nowhere to be seen. We must find her.
It's just
She got 1 luck. Good level. Crested chest. Boost all hits. Interesting.
Not a trace of the Emperor in sight. She and Duke Ire must.
Yeah, I really wonder if this is like she disappeared because those who slither in the dark took her back, or what.
By now, the Knights of Sero should be making their final approach on Garreg Mach. Perhaps we should join them and focus on reclaiming the monastery before anything else.
She didn't seem like she really had
No,
the
let's
state
keep
of
looking.
mind to really do anything else. Byleth is the one
Sometimes
speaking
the
up.
person you're looking for is hiding right under your nose the whole time.
Are we about to turn around and Edelgard's just
Your
right there?
words hold some truth to them. Very well. We'll split off into groups and search for her all at once.
I didn't expect Byleth to
I'm
be the
gonna
one
go
to
check
say
the
that.
path up to the monastery. You want to come with?
Of course.
Oh, is this where...
Then we will divide our efforts and search both to the east
Huh.
and west. Good luck.
Is this where we get a mission where Shesh just randomly starts attacking Byleth? Because I feel like that's... Oh, yeah, that's definitely what this is. Oh, boy.
What's wrong?
Oh, nothing.
Yeah.
Just thinking how the time has finally come.
And this dialogue, I think, is likely to be the exact same thing. But if we're gonna go into the, I don't know what to call it aside from, like, Arvel's world. I guess it's also Epimenides' world. For that to happen with all 3 leaders, doesn't Edelgard have to be in the proper, you know, state of mind?
It's over. Oh, how I've waited for this day. The day that I kill you!
What's odd to me, too, is the A-rank support conversation after this with... Because I'm pretty sure this is one of the chapters that unlocks it. Or the chapter that unlocks it. What makes me wonder is, you would think if Sothis is still present within Byleth, unlike Arva who kind of disappears, what happens? You know? Why didn't Sothis help her here when we were clearly not a threat and Sothis did then, you know? Way back when.
I'll carve out your monstrous
Just interesting.
heart and put an end to the beast dwelling within. Your destruction is everything I've ever fought for.
Sorry, Byleth.
Strange. The 2 of them have yet to return.
They've sent no word back either. They may have been ambushed by Imperial stragglers.
Your Majesty, I bear troubling news from one of our scouting units. A squadron of mages has been spotted laying in ambush in the forest ahead. They surely hope to obstruct our march.
Okay. I can only assume they're what's left of the ones we faced in Aelel.
It's difficult to say. But given the situation, there's a high probability the search party we sent out to find the Emperor has been attacked.
No. We must hurry, Your Majesty.
Yeah.
Your Majesty, we've confirmed the locations of the Commander and the Ashen Demon, but they're locked in heated combat. Not only that, but it appears as though the Commander's the one who instigated it.
Yeah.
What? We should be off.
Yeah.
The situation is one we must attend to ourselves.
You almost make it sound like you expected this.
Our mercenary friend feared a time would come when they turned their blade on us.
Yeah. Which is Dimitri of the three, I think, trusted us the most. They did, yeah, Shez was always very communicative in this path that they worried about that.
Attacking their friends, that is. I promised I would put them down if such events came to pass.
Don't worry, Dimitri, it probably won't come to that.
We should embark at once, Your Majesty. There's not a moment to waste.
Yes. I suggest we steel ourselves for the worst.
Yep, okay. Yeah, okay, we've got this mission where we've got Shez attacking Byleth. And we gotta just hurry and make sure to deal with it before that happens. As for the units we used, probably these four. Dimitri, Catherine, Shamir, and Gerald. Because we can't use Byleth and we can't use Shez. I remember this actually kind of blindsided me on the first path. Specifically because these were two of the four units we were using. And then we were using, I think it was like Dimitri and, Claude and... I think we were using... Oh, it was Lysithia. So we basically had two units that we used, and I think we fell back on Shamir and, No, we were using Gerald... On the first path, we were using Shez, Byleth, Gerald, and Byleth. No, it was Byleth and Lysithia? It's tough to remember. I used quite a few units in our first path, to be fair. Off and on, like 8. But... Either way, not a big deal. Let's just do this. I'm just gonna not worry about who we bring in. 7 minutes, 100 enemies.
I will hunt you until my dying breath. Get back here!
There's not a moment to lose. We must stop their attack.
Yeah, let's keep going.
The slightest notion of what is going on, but I'll happily take it.
Oh, Solon is just here. I was wondering, because this was the result of this fight, though. Before everyone gets teleported to Epimenides' world. But yeah, this is one of the parts that's basically the same, I think, across every single path. Because again, it's repetitive, but it's one of those many things that you have to consider. This could have been someone's first path, or any of them could be, so it makes sense for this event to happen. Because then otherwise, how do people know what happened to Solon, you know? It could have been cool to see a different, like, way Solon's End came about and stuff in every single path. But it just makes sense for things to also happen this way. I remember also thinking the first path, maybe I'd need to bring a healer eventually for this. Don't think that's the case.
Stay out of this. It does not concern you.
They won't listen to reason. We'll have to use force to stop them. Hurry!
Hang on, kid. I'm coming.
I must move us away from all of these foolish distractions.
Yep. There's that teleport. We're down by Dimitri, which is convenient.
We can't make any progress like this.
Sorry, guys.
We have no idea where they will reappear. We should split up to cover every possible location.
I do like how this path really does emphasize, like, it's a concern in every path to some extent. But the fact that, you know, Dimitri, like, fully recognizes, like, yeah, Shez has been worried about this for some time. I actually kind of like that. I don't remember if the other paths really mentioned that, but it's obviously something that would be... I mean, they mentioned it to some extent, you know. They always talk about how his powers are, quote-unquote, like, startlingly similar to those who slither in the dark. But the fact that it's, like, directly mentioned later, it... To be honest, it probably was, but still. don't know if I needed to clear out this, switch to Gerald. Yeah, Gerald's still using that scythe-like weapon, actually. I could not remember. But Gerald was fairly leveled, because, well, we didn't really focus on, we didn't really focus on using him in Scarlet Blaze. We used Gerald quite a bit in our first path in Golden Wildfire. Yeah, we got it. Let's hurry.
Snap out of it.
But you'd really think if she had access to a fair amount of Sothis' powers, if she really wanted to, Byleth could probably just destroy Shez even now. But again, there's no way of telling. Because there's that scene where Sothis says, like, you're not capable of using my powers at their full extent or something like that, but I still just gotta assume that if it came down to it, Byleth is still probably stronger than Shez. I really always got that that impression.
We had a report of someone matching Edelgard's description nearby.
Oh, okay, that's where Edelgard
The
is.
situation being what it is, we won't be able to reach her for some time.
Real quick though, I'm going to send someone here. Trying to decide who. Shimmer's fine. Because I remember finding out specifically on our first path, you can't go up through the top here.
The army is locked in combat with some sort of mysterious force. Has Edelgard been captured?
And this is how Claude shows up, okay.
I could take a lesson from your persistence.
Okay, Shimmer's most of the way there. Alright. Here we go.
Let's clear it out.
She's this.
You're mine.
Down there, I should have. Okay. Send
Time to go to work.
Catherine right here.
I dislike ending things on a low note. As such, prepare to die.
Okay, we'll go down enemies to Pikachu. So just switch to Catherine. Go take out Bias. I've still been wondering though exactly what timer you're on. As in, like, I'm sure if you take too long, maybe Byleth does just die. But I have no idea what timer that would be, you know, how long. But just an interesting thought. It's one of those things too that I'm sure if you let that happen, you probably just fail the mission as well. So I'm not sure why I would, you know, do that, but been curious about it. Come on, there we go. Shez, stop beating up all Byleth. Sorry. Arya is also a name I actually used in Three Houses. I've mentioned this before. I just really like that name for female protagonists. Don't know why. Just always like it. It's the name of it, like a song form. Remember learning about it way back when in AP Music Theory. Also use like Elegy as well and Cadenza.
You came for me, Gerald. Thank you.
You sound surprised, kid. I'm almost offended.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's one of those scenes that's kind of funny, but Gerald is literally her father. If he didn't come... Be a little bit concerning, honestly. I'd be a little bit mad at Gerald.
If I must wring the life from you by my own hand, then so be it.
Jeez, Solon just looks so disturbing. I get that that's the point, but like... His head looks like it is just one tap away from busting open.
I must capture and learn the truth about that day.
Hi, Solon. I hate to break it to you, Dimitri, but Solon dies like immediately after this. You're not getting any information out of him.
Try me, you witless beasts.
Forgive us, Your Majesty. Our quarry escaped during the transfer. It's not good. Send out a search party immediately.
Sick. So now we're definitely going to be doing the other world thing.
To be bested created by such a despicable beast as this one.
Yeah, the next little bit should be basically the same as it is in the other two paths.
I need to get this.
So I don't know how much of it we'll watch, but still.
So it's true. You really are from Shambhala.
Forgive me for this, Solon. But without your sacrifice, this world can never be made clean. Oh, great Saharas, veil of night fluttering in the abyss. By the laws of creation, throw wide your infernal gates and swallow my foes.
Where is he?
Dimitri, you good?
I am. As are you. The enemy must be near. We should split up.
You there.
What?
Oh.
Is something wrong, Edelgard? You seem different.
Yeah.
How do you know what my name is? You must be... No, I can't... I don't get it. What is this?
Glad we didn't skip this, actually. This is different.
What's happening?
So in this path, she doesn't have her memories back. Huh. Odd. That would be different, because in the other two, obviously, there was no, you know, precedent for any of the three leaders being, you know, amnesiacs at the time. I think we'd skip that cutscene, though, in our second path, because the first part is still the same with Shez killing Solon, but...
It has been a long, long battle.
Yeah, it's Epimenides.
My race wavers at the brink of extinction.
This does appear to be the same, but now I'm kind of wary that it's slightly different, so I'm not going to skip it.
What was stolen from my people might be theirs once more. Which is why I was born. Yes, I created you. The cycle of the world, the rehousing of souls. How desperately I sought this secret art. But it demanded precision. One defect, one essence wrongly transplanted, would lead to consequences most irreparable.
Yeah, probably.
I knew I must oversee the process myself in order to save my beloved people. When my consciousness first initialized, I was nothing.
And this is the line I've really wondered about this in all the past, but
the sound of
from this first little part, really does make me believe that maybe Arvel wasn't lying about not having memories before he kind of merged with us, or it, sorry, merged with us. And then, you know, it was really these events that kind of sparked that knowledge. Because for a while I'd wondered if maybe Arvel did still have their memories, and was just pretending.
In search of light.
But who knows?
Was an unforeseen accident.
But yeah, this conversation really made me think that wasn't the case.
It was fortunate I had created you, for you proved useful in a way I never expected. I am to become you. That's why I'm here. That's why I've been compelled to remove any obstacle in your way.
But that's definitely why they were trying to just completely get rid of, you know, Byleth the entire time, because of the existence of Sothis.
So you understand. Then return that body you two share to me. It pains me to do this to you, but alas, all was written from the beginning.
And here I actually thought Epimenides was going to completely, like, gain control of Shez. But that was also not the direction they weren't taking with it.
Azure gleam into the chasm.
Let's hold off on the weapons for now, okay? Probably best you don't move at all, actually.
Huh? What are you doing here, Claude? Glad to see you're okay at least.
Not sure okay is the word I'd go with. Dimitri and I got sucked into some weird magic vortex.
One of your making, I can only presume.
When we came to, we were sprawled on the ground.
Wait, where's
here.
Edelgard?
Charming place, if you ask me.
I take it you don't remember what happened.
Yeah.
You changed, attempted to strike at us. We were thankfully able to subdue you, at least temporarily.
Could have been a lot worse.
But you came to and fled not long after. You were, by all accounts, a different person entirely.
I guess that kinda rings a bell. The last thing I remember is Arval telling me to slay the Ashen Demon. At least, I think it was Arval.
Arval?
The voice in my head. We've known each other for a few years now. Sounds pretty
Always
out
gets
there,
me.
right? This is why I never mentioned it.
And you claim this Arval suddenly decided to turn on you.
I know how it sounds, but yeah. There are two things I can say for sure. The first is that Arval's magic is what dragged us all in here. And the second is that there's no
Well,
one
and
in heaven
Menides just got rid of Arval, so
What?
yeah.
How can you be sure?
Because I don't feel them. At least not in my mind. Arval's somewhere else now. Somewhere distant.
Well, that's vague. How are we supposed to make heads or tails of any of this?
Yeah.
At the very least, I believe your account well enough to say you are no longer a threat to us.
Right. We can save all that
Surprised both of them believed us that fast, actually, given what just happened, but
Anyhow,
still.
you wouldn't happen to know a way out of this dark, void place, would you?
About that,
Yeah.
I know I said distant, but Arval's definitely here with us somewhere. If we can find them and figure out what magic they used on us, we might just be able to escape.
You sure are optimistic for someone who's surrounded by horrible nothingness.
Good old Claude.
It isn't as though we have any alternatives. We should take a look around. Perhaps we can learn more about this place in the process.
Dimitri? Where are you going?
Yeah, that conversation seemed to be pretty much the same, but again,
So you were dragged in here as well, Edelgard. Are you all right?
What are you doing here? Where am I?
did this just jolt her memories back?
Ourselves. But we have
I
no
figured her
intention
memories
of
were
fighting.
going to come back at some point. I didn't think that this was just magically going to bring them back, though.
Who else is here with you?
Why'd you run off like that, Dimitri? Did you notice something? Wait, Edelgard?
It seems much has transpired without my knowledge.
Yeah, I don't think any of us really know what's going on.
Yeah. We're just going to break it to her that it's been like at least 6 months, probably almost a year between,
Different from the last time I saw
yeah,
you.
the last time she
something
remembers
happen to you?
anything.
The last time? When was that? It seems I have a fair number of gaps in my memory.
Yeah.
The most recent thing I can remember is... Arian.
Yeah, that's a while ago.
You and I were squaring off, Dimitri, when Talus appeared and cast some dark
Yeah, do we break it
magic
to her that that was like a long time ago?
That was over 6 moons ago.
Okay, it was only 6 months ago.
If Viscount Fenya's word is anything to go by, you've been serving as Duke Ayer's puppet.
That's
ever
got to be
since.
jarring.
Not only that, Duke Ayer himself was under the nefarious control of Talus.
6 months. And tell me, what of the Empire? I can't believe I have to direct such a question to you two, of all people.
You probably don't want to know the answer to that.
Changed big time after the battle at Arian Road against the kingdom. Your lands have been ravaged, your military has lost all discipline, and Lester and Fargus have since joined hands to put an end to the Empire's brutality. You're actually catching us right in the middle of the climactic fight.
After we routed the Imperial army in the Valley of Torment, you fled, escaping with Duke Ayer. Once we put an end to him, we turned our
I know it
gaze
would never happen, but imagine if none of this had actually happened. Like if this was like the Scarlet Blaze path, and we just... We also have... Like, because they did this with Byleth and Three Houses to an extent. But like, we just showed up and all of a sudden we were like, huh. We don't know what happened. Same with Edelgard, and they just told us something wild and completely untrue.
Doing so to steer the Empire toward his
Just one
own
of those little like
desires.
random thoughts I always have. Where I'm like, I know
In the
it'll never
past,
happen,
he
but
took over
imagine.
the body of my uncle, Lord Arundel, and snatched the reins of Adrastia as
Okay,
its
so maybe it
regent.
really was like they just control, like, effectively, like, I don't know, kill the person that it was before, and then they transform into or control the body of
So it's true then.
somebody.
Lord Arundel was actually Thomas.
Or maybe, you know,
You've
who
gotta help
knows?
us
I
get
just,
out of here, Edelgard.
I would be glad to, once you inform me further about the current state
don't
of
start
Fodlan.
making ultimatums, Edelgard. Really,
Been
now is
in
not the time.
essence asleep the last half a year.
I get
remember?
what, yeah, I get that, but still.
Yes. I suppose we can afford a short break to bring you up to speed before we resume our search.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yes.
Poor Edelgard. Now, at this point, I think we have seen pretty much every conversation, but let me just take a quick sec.
What do you hope to accomplish once this war is over, Claude?
Why? Worried I have some nasty plot up my sleeve? I'm just gonna come out and say it.
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought. These conversations should all be the same. Basically, you have a talk with your own house leader, which should be unique, I think. But then whenever you talk to one of the other two, your house leader talks to someone else.
Let's see.
Yeah, you have a quick conversation with your house leader, and then when you talk to the other two, for instance, here Edelgard or talk to Dimitri. We've already had these conversations, though. So, I'm just gonna go ahead and pass on these.
Enough with the searching glare.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Between the other two paths, at least, we, you know, saw these conversations. Alright.
I wonder.
But until we escape, basically everything should be the same thing. Now, here I don't think we actually get training points yet. So we can just head out. But we'll have the fight where we fight, like, a mirror version of Byleth and the 3 house leaders and all such and such. But they should be exactly the same.
You can't tell forward from back in here. Let's try over that way, maybe?
Good idea. It seems different from the rest of the void. Look out!
So it failed. Has my skill degraded that sharply over the years?
Arvel.
I have been searching for you. And look what you brought me. The 3 who fancy themselves.
Honestly, there's a chance it's slightly different, but now that Edelgard has her memories back, I'm 100% certain this is the exact same thing. So, I could sit through and, you know, listen to all that stuff again, but genuinely, I think it's basically the same.
Know whoever that is needs to be stopped.
And how far are you willing to go? Will you cut down your own
Yeah, they summoned their
threads to
retainers
reach
here.
me?
Yep. Honestly, I might just even rush the Phantoms. I'm not worried about getting enough strength in this fight. Because it's, like I was saying, the exact same thing, and we've done it twice already. It was really cool the first time, though, getting a chance to try out all the other house leaders.
If it were real, you'd understand.
But,
Claude, no! Don't do this! I can't believe you would hurt me.
This is harder than I thought. I mean, how do we know for sure they're not real?
because they're glowing purple.
Why are you? No. This is a deception.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Hubert himself is a perfect example. Like, not that I think Hilda or Dedue would, but Dedue probably wouldn't actually either. Oh.
But steel yourself.
Nice.
Don't know who you'll confront next.
Are we being warped away? No. Space itself is distorting around us.
Here we go. Now we fight everyone's mirror images.
Our surroundings have changed.
It's interesting that Edelgard doesn't have her fancy weapon here, like the other two. Yeah, the other two have their special weapons. To be fair, and I mentioned this on Scarlet Blaze, though. Edelgard's like special weapon was the only one I think you didn't start with. Pretty sure Claude Claude started with Fail Not, and I don't remember what Dimitri's lance is called. But I remember we didn't actually start with it, and I was really surprised.
How do I tell which Edelgard and Dimitri are on my side?
The one that isn't glowing purple. It's not that hard, Claude. It's not a bad idea, but I've genuinely wondered, do you have to? I didn't think it was the case, but...
This darkness is a mirror for the soul. And once a soul is imprisoned here, it is eternally severed from the real world.
Why Edelgard is returned to normal?
Oh, okay. That's a good explanation to get.
Just imagine how much easier our task will be with the two of us.
There's only like one quick line, but like I was saying, I mean, I'm sure everyone who played this path was sitting there wondering, like, why did coming down here give her her memory back? Free her from the control of Talus. So even if it's only like one sentence from Claude, like, helpful.
Everything we've ever wanted is before us, right for the taking. If you're really me, then you already know why I'm doing this. I don't like leaving my fate up to luck.
I still remember thinking it was really cool too, because I think this is literally the only time in the entire game, that I remember at least, that you see both the effective and weak against sign. And it's because, you know, Claw's an archer on Wyvern back. You know, an archer in a flying unit. I genuinely can't think of another time that there's ever a fight that happens, because I don't think... Oh my gosh. I don't think that there's ever a time that you fight another mounted unit like that. But I still think that's a really cool detail. Since that's the type of thing that they'd have to... Yeah, I was going to say, we took a lot of damage there, though. Can't take a lot more. But that's the type of thing that really wouldn't be applicable anywhere else.
So it would seem.
At least now we're certain they're not weak. We can cut them down without mercy.
Again? Please tell me we're gonna find that guy this time.
Now I believe it's...
Let's get searching.
Actually, do we not fight a Shares clone? I know we fight a Byleth clone in Epimenides.
To think you are already adapting to this place.
Where's the Byleth clone?
Now have the grace to lay down your lives and let the world you've torn apart heal.
Sorry, Epimenides, that's not really... one of those odd requests that you just... Well, not odd, but like, you sit there and you're like, did they... I mean, what did you expect, you know?
You're in peak form today.
Where's the... Did we have to damage Epimenides before the Byleth clone shows up? Oh wait, yeah, doesn't Epimenides summon like a barrier?
My partner in destiny.
You're not Arval. And even if you were, I'd fight you all the same.
Unfortunate, but you are forcing my hand.
Yeah, there's the barrier. There was a Shares clone, that's what I thought. I was like... Stuff like that though, I'm like... I just always second guess myself because I feel like a lot of time it's just me being dumb, you know? I don't know if anyone else ever gets that feeling, but...
So even our mercenary friend gets affected. This is going to take all of us. Time to put our differences
The one who
aside.
should have an advantage against Sword should be Lanston. Yeah.
But you will all still be trapped in this place.
Why does it have to be you? I don't want to fight you.
There we go. Alright, Epimenides, come on.
It seems I'm forced to do this myself. So be it. Come at me if you dare.
Lower the barrier.
Our adversary has finally run out of tricks.
There we go.
Time to finish this.
That do it? No, but this will.
Nothing I do is enough. How much more must I sacrifice?
You know, the crazy thing too about games like this is if the game had been from Epimenides' standpoint, it wouldn't have been a very long game, but like, it could have drastically changed how we felt. You never know what happened in the past between Arval and Epimenides' race and, like, Sothis and such, but as things stand, you know?
The cycle of this world must be protected.
I think I skipped this cutscene during the second path, but why not watch it again? It's pretty neat. I was gonna say, this in particular I thought was really cool.
You fool! Why must you resist me so?
You know my reason. The tomorrow we're fighting for. The choice is ours to make.
It's incredible. Just how strong you've become.
And then they make one of those really sad moments for Arvels. They always do this with characters like this, though.
Possible.
The true consciousness, you know, reveals itself right at the very end.
Never felt more alone.
Was it a different... You know, maybe it was a different weapon every time. Yeah, no, apparently... Maybe I'm just dumb. Because we just got an achievement for getting that S rank reward, so maybe it was a different S rank reward every time. Good thing we S ranked it every time, then.
Looks like we made it.
Are you sure about that?
Oops.
I still have no idea what's going on.
Yes, it all felt like a strange fever dream. Whatever was that place?
Who knows?
It seems we've lost sight of Edelgard as well.
Maybe she got back before we did and hightailed it out of here.
She probably wants to fix things in the Empire, like, immediately, though.
The real question is, where would she
if she is gone already.
Garreg Mach, surely. She must seek to reconvene with the Imperial forces.
Interesting.
What do you want to do? Should we get back to the search? Or maybe we'd be better off regrouping with the others first.
The latter.
Yeah.
We weren't gone long. But
At this point, though, thankfully, we're still allies with Claude, but everyone from both the Alliance and the Kingdom are probably still,
I don't want them going
yeah,
gray
freaking
over
out.
old me. But I'll see you both.
But we were
over
already,
at
yeah,
Garreg
we
Mach.
already were all here
Oh,
to
and,
convene at
feel free
Garreg
to
Mach, so
clobber the Imperial Army
who knows?
without us if you get there first.
Very well. We will see you there, Claude.
Lord Uncle.
Oh.
Do not worry me so, Edelgard. Come, let us handle everything for you. It has served us all exceedingly well so far.
Yes.
Interesting. The end of tragedy.
Azure Gleam. The end of tragedy. Dimitri and his troops slay Regent Ire, and in doing so deliver a crushing blow.
So Duke Ire definitely
Adestia
does
and
die,
its army.
I think, regardless,
Seizing this
which is fine.
momentum, they continue onward toward Garreg Mach. En route to the monastery, Dimitri receives word that the Knights of Seros are struggling. He marches with one purpose: to slay Edelgard and Talus, ending the war once and for all.
Interesting. Yeah, I really do think Rhea probably survives this path, though. That's interesting.
Forgive me. Our initial strike on the monastery proved successful, but my unit was separated from Lady Rhea's. And before we knew it, those dark mages had descended upon us.
You've done well to make it here. Thank you for your report.
Lady Rhea's in trouble. We have to help her.
I feel like in general, though, there probably wasn't a church route, from what I could tell now. And they just kind of combined it maybe with the kingdom route.
We should make sure we're
Which is actually pretty
extra ready before we
interesting.
head in there ourselves.
Because again, you have to consider Rhea does definitely die in both the other paths.
Greater knowledge of the monastery than
Although I
anyone
guess in
else.
Scarlet Blaze she fell in like that endless
If she
as
is in
I don't
distress
know.
after her successful surprise attack, that is troubling indeed.
I kind of thought this might be the case for a while, just because again, we get all the knights in this path, how could we,
Your Majesty.
you know,
We've just concluded our
fight
survey
them?
of Garreg Mach and its surroundings. A man we believe to be Tullus was seen entering the monastery, with the Emperor following close behind.
Well,
so she's
it's...
fallen into his hands.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did Tullus immediately get control of her again, or is she pretending?
No longer Edelgard, but Tullus.
That's one thing that had been really, like, I'm wondering right now.
Mages are his as well.
Makes sense why the knights
Because maybe it was just being in that other realm, like they were mentioning, that freed her from his control, and she lost control immediately again. Or again, maybe she's pretending and decided that's strategically the best option right now. It's kind of difficult to say until later on.
Here, so much of what ails our kingdom will be destroyed along with them.
Perhaps. But our task is clear either way.
Yeah.
Yep. Smash our enemies, win the war, and restore peace to Fodlan.
Well said. The Alliance should be here soon as well, assuming they've broken through the Imperial ranks in the Valley of Torment.
Well, given that, you know, Claude had kind of shown up in that last little bit, outside of plot reasons, I would assume they were probably able to, you know, clear that out.
Beyond that as well. We cannot afford much time to prepare, but let us ready to make our future a prosperous one.
Oh, is it literally just one fight? Oh. Interesting.
Let's give this a try.
Increasing strength, magic, or defense. Well, we're obviously not going to do defense here. Ooh. Strength or magic, huh? Let's do magic just because it also gives us Sedath and Flame Infection. Why not?
Now then.
Yeah, I see. Can't do I need to not forget to collect these owl feathers. So real quick, I just want to go into the strategist to see if there's a cutscene before we go into here.
Battlefield are you headed to?
There is not. Okay, so the fact that we did find this out last time, the fact that there's this timer here makes me believe that this is in fact the last fight of the path. Oh, this is how we get Gravitas too. I've been wondering about this for a long time. Because we've had like Parthia, Hotclair, and Mercurius since like the first path, but I don't think I ever did find a Gravitas. So that's been on my mind a lot. We'll have to make sure to get an S rank down on this path for the sake of my continuing new game pluses. But anyways, guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and end the recording here. Because we basically have that last path, the paralogues due for the next session, and then I'll go ahead and take care of, like, I'll probably clear out some of the older stages, use my points here for training and everything. But what this basically leaves for last session is, yeah, those paralogues, last chapter, and any support conversations we do. What I think I'm gonna do is take a look at all the ones that we have, and if there's any that I'm just really not interested in, I'll just go through those on my own time while I'm doing my kind of off-stream recording grinding. But hopefully my situation with like my internet company, the internet stuff does fix itself. Like I was saying, it started on Friday, and then we found out after we called them then that probably because I think it was the weekend, they weren't going to be able to get to it until today. But they said, I'm pretty sure it was by either 7 or 8 p.m. today. They were hoping to have it fixed. And Xenoblade 3 releases on Friday. So I'm hopefully going to be able to stream, whether it be tomorrow, Wednesday, or Thursday. I'll have a day where I can just stream the rest of this, this path and finish out this game. But I will post this on YouTube. We'll get to that when we can. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll catch you next time. Bye.